disappointed in every one of you.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to offend you.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
I kiss you on the mouth.
No, I'm not cool with that. I'm sorry.
One more time.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
I mean, I'm dealing with degenerate animals.
I'm disappointed in every one of you. Disappointed in every one of you.
All right, come on.
Honestly, I can't do it, man.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
Let me tell you why.
It's gonna be all right, Nicky. Go ahead, shoot.
You just killed a little fucking man.
What are you going to do about it?
Yeah, because you got nothing. You don't got a thing. Yeah, because you got nothing. Got nothing.
I want to get out of this rat hole. I want to get online. I need
BDA boxing.
Welcome everybody to the Boxing Podcast, broadcasting to you live from the True North. This is your good friend, Mr. BDA, and joining me as always, my co-host, the one, the only King, Bucho. King, you there?
Yes, sir.
Fantastic. Listen, fellas, thank you for joining us. We already got Stu, Jay, and Jimmy on the Discord. We will be opening up the phone line soon as well, but there's a lot to talk about. First of all, thanks everybody for joining us. And we will be talking about, we didn't get these guys' thoughts on the newly signed Joshua versus Fury mega fight. Want to get everybody's thoughts on that. Also, we got some good fights coming up this weekend. Nothing really super major, but, some decent fights, of course. And, of course, the most important thing is that you guys are here, so we're going to be getting that to that. But before we get to the fun, let's get the business out of the way, fellas. If you want to keep the gravy train rolling, you can certainly do so via the Super Chat feature during the show, or you can donate via the PayPal page or the Patreon page. But of course, the most important thing is you hit the thumbs up button, subscribe if you haven't done so already, and that's about it. Listen, shout out to everybody in the chat room. I'm talking about Michael Poe, Marcy D, Padja, Sean Fowler, Kevin from Chicago, who is pretty upset that we didn't put Glowacki's name in the title, Smoking Joe, and many more people to come, I'm sure, fellas. Thank you for joining us. All right, let's get down to it. We got Jimmy and Stu. Thank you for joining us, fellas.
Good afternoon, brother.
Good afternoon, indeed. Glad to have you guys on board. Let's start with you, Jimmy, because I don't know if Stu's there. The Fury-Joshua fight. Yes. Karen came out. He said it's signed. Are you excited? And do you think it actually happens? Because there's some people...
Oh, yeah, well, I mean... Well, there's people, which, there's boxing fans who literally are hoping the fight doesn't take place. I mean, the biggest fight that could possibly be made, regardless of what Stephen A. says, that meatball, Crawford, Spence, although I want to see it, and it is the biggest domestic fight, definitely biggest in the lower, welterweight division, but it doesn't touch the surface. Anytime you have heavyweights unifying, plus two British guys, England is going to go berserk on that night. I'm happy for the British fans, happy for boxing. But yeah, there's only one thing holding it up right now, and that's COVID fucking protocols. Simple as that. If that wasn't in place, they would already be, probably in Wembley. That's the reason why they're even looking to send it to Saudi Arabia, is because they're looking to somebody to put up the site fee. They wouldn't need that site fee if they had, those protocols weren't in place.
Right.
No, Jimmy, it's the fact that Wilder is in arbitration right now.
Yeah. Isn't that, from what I remember reading, I believe that arbitration was for a financial package. He was just looking to get monies because that he was missing out on that third fight, which I heard was thrown out on its face. He didn't sign these contracts on those two specific dates. And the fact that they're already in negotiation, listen, Bob, negotiation isn't free. These guys are lawyers. When you're sitting and negotiating stuff, that's still time out of there. You know what I mean? So that's a lot of work, and they wouldn't even be going that route if they still had Wilder hanging over their head. That would have to be eliminated, totally eliminated.
It would be a big deal. Jimmy, a breach of contract. That's basically what it would mean. Like, that's a big deal. You know what I mean? You don't start fucking planning on your next fight, looking at side venues and stuff like that when you have a potential fucking court date coming up, because you supposedly breach a contract. So it's ridiculous. And there's this guy on Twitter that I was debating. He kept insisting that, no, they're going to court. You don't know what you're talking about. And he's like, arbitration is like court.
No, is that Artman? Is that kid Artman?
Fuck, I don't know who it is on Twitter.
Might be a family member. Might be a family member of Artman. Probably.
I just told that guy, listen, just call in. And he said, I will call in. Just don't put words in my mouth. I was like, just like call in. Because it doesn't make sense. Like you said, Jimmy, they wouldn't be going through all this trouble.
An arbitrator isn't even a legal judge. An arbitrator most of the time is a panel. Exactly. You don't have... Listen, the only person who can enforce a contract or stop a multi-million-dollar fight would have to be a court. It would have to be set legal precedents. And only then, if the sanction bodies, even follow the decree, most of the time they will because they don't want problems in the United States. So yes, an arbitrator is for arbitration, which is always financial. It had nothing to do with enforcing that third fight. That is asinine. You need to take that to court.
And like I said, I told the guy, if Wilder really wants a third fight, then he would take this to court if indeed there was a breach of contract. But since there isn't, he's stuck with arbitration, trying to get some money out of this.
And it's not like he doesn't have precedent of suing people, right? He sued Prevekin and he sued somebody else. So his team, Finkel, will already, of course they would sue. Of course, because you know what they would get in order, say if that it was a breach and they had this other whole Joshua thing in order, right? Now that's when he would get a big payday. Because say if a judge said, no, you have to, take this third fight with Wilder. Obviously, if they have everything in place, everything signed, they would go to Wilder then and say, all right, what do you want? And he'd kind of have him over a barrel. Probably possibly cost millions. I know I hit YouTube, and I don't even know why it popped up, but just within the last 12 hours, Blue Blood Boxing made a video saying, Deontay Wilder receiving $10 million for step-aside money. 2 weeks ago he did one that said $20 million. These people are just all over the place.
They're just throwing numbers. Yeah.
Yeah, but what is up with that? Because I was telling Bucho how it seems like every week is something different. First, no, the fight's not going to happen. Then it's actually going to be Fury Wilder. Then it's, Wilder's going to get a step-aside money. Now it's to make themselves feel better is, there's no American in the fight, therefore it's not that big a fight. And for some reason, the fact that it might take place in Dubai is also somehow hurting.
Oh, an issue. Oh, yeah. Oh, like people are going to fucking watch it on a Saturday afternoon. It's like, dude, shut up. They're angry. They're angry on two reasons. One, Wilder's not in it, number one. And two, they have this fight taking place the minute that was signed, maybe because I would like 78 must know. I would imagine the guys who probably talk to Wilder on a daily basis, but the other fucking clown shows, they might actually believe the shit that 78 and the handful of the guys in the LDBC, make videos, and the rest of them say, oh, that must be true. So what has now happened, the minute that was signed, that has made them all look like fucking liars. You know what I mean? It just makes like, what the fuck? Everything you've been saying is wrong. So it does hit their credibility to what credibility they have, but you know what I mean?
But now, here's my question, man. It seems like they're saying, this fight's... That's what they're saying, essentially. This fight's not going to happen. And then they say, it's not going to be big because there's no American in there. Does that also sort of prove that they're not actually boxing fans? Meaning, they only root for one fighter or one nationality or one ethnicity. And if it doesn't involve that, then they won't watch it.
They're ideologues, is the way I saw it in a tweet. They're ideologues pretending to be boxing fans. That's all. Yeah, they use boxing as the vehicle. Listen, what other sport could they get away with this? Not in football. They'd be just crushed by the sheer size of the other sports. Because of that, boxing is an easy sport. It's a niche sport, so it's easy to develop fucking followers and whatnot. And they just use it to push their racial fucking narrative.
Because think about it. The only Brit here is Stu, and he's actually just half Brit. But we're still looking forward to the fight. because we're boxing fans. It doesn't have anything to do with nationality. So I think that those comments are actually pretty revelatory of where exactly they stand when it comes to the sport, and that is that they're not actually fans of the sport. They're just nationalistic fanboys.
And what's the deal with Stephen A. Smith and also Max Keller,
look,
man?
These people are worshippers. These are the sort of people who are worshippers. These are the sort of people that back in the if they lived like 1,000 years ago, they'd be worshipping a golden cow. Or something like that. They just need something to worship. I mean, when you have to rely on another man's achievements to make you happy, then you are bottom of society, I'm afraid. I don't care who you are. The fact is, I don't give two shits who wins out of Joshua and Fury. But I just want a good fight. Not about race, not about nationality. Kev's on the chat moaning about Glowacki not being mentioned. To be honest with you, that guy don't deserve a mention right now. Proved, this is a big fight we're talking about. Joshua and Fury, and he wants to talk about fucking Glowacki. This guy, and because he's Polish, that's the only reason. This is the problem with boxing. We've got toxic people like him, the LDBC, where all you need is a fucking suntan and you're one of them. I mean, come on, man, get the fuck out.
Didn't Glowacki, isn't he the one who got fucking slept by Ronis Helenis?
Yeah,
No, we're talking about cruiserweight.
No. Oh, I mixed that two up again.
No, Glowacki. No, you're on about what's the fat guy? What's his name again? I forgot the fat Polish guy who lives in America.
Nowacki.
Yeah, Kownacki. You're on about Kownacki. We're on about Glowacki. Yeah, you're on yeah.
I'm on a different wacky.
He's fighting Lawrence Okolie. And yeah, I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of Lawrence Okolie, I'm afraid. I mean, this guy stunk the joint out a few times, but he's got serious power. So it's going to be a good fight. Obviously, Glowacki's scored, and he's no bum. I know that. But Lawrence Okolie looks quite dangerous. He looks like he's sort of growing into that division, looking quite strong. I mean, when he's hitting these people clean, they're falling over. But very, very boring to watch. Very Klitschko-like at times, where it's fucking far too much holding. I remember he fought. Who was the guy that he fought? Fucking hell, I can't remember. I'm so tired. He fought a British guy anyway, and it was a terrible fight. He won on points, but there's a fight. Chamberlain, Isaac Chamberlain. I mean, look, it was a dreadful fight, and it's just something I don't want to see again. But I think Glowacki's going to be. I don't think Glowacki is as bad as Chamberlain when it comes to fucking holding either. I think he's going to try and fight his way out the hold, and he's going to be quite dangerous at mid-range and in the pocket. So. Yes, it's a problem because Okolie doesn't really have any fucking inside game himself, so he could get knocked out himself. So that's a 50-50 fight, but that's as far as I go with that fight. We're talking about big fights now: Spence-Crawford, Joshua Fury, and that's what the show's about. So if you don't like it, Kev, I'm sure one of these LDBC channels are live right now talking about Wilder. Go and read watch that. That'd be my message.
Well,
to you.
speaking of Kevin from Chicago, in fact, he's in the chat room right now saying BDA and Bucho highlighted Okolie in the title, but not the former world champ Glowacki. He makes a good point, fellas. I gotta agree with Kevin on this one.
Oh, does it really?
Who's the favorite though?
Does it fucking matter? Jesus Christ! He's the sort of guy that if he was a fight, he'd be arguing who goes into the ring first or second. He'd be one of them fucking divas, wouldn't he? I mean, does it matter? At the end of the day, you know what we're talking about. If Okolie's mentioned, then Glowacki's going to be obviously mentioned too. I mean, we can only put so much in the title, and that's what it is. What a crybaby that guy.
Okay, Lauren, according to Bet365, Okolie is a 4-1 favorite.
4-1
favorite. 4-1 favorite.
Well, there you have it. I mean,
so is he the A side, or how does this work?
Yeah, he probably is the A side. Yeah. Oh, wait. You said Okolie is the A side, right? I mean, the favorite.
I mean, I don't know. He's a favorite, 4-1. I mean,
well,
4
of course,
is kind of a lot.
he's the guy that's being set up to win. So yeah, he is.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't understand what the problem is from Kevin. I mean, he wants the more experienced guy. Okay, so if he was a guy that's older and out the way, but just because he's got more experience, he's the biggest. He should be the A side. That makes no sense, man. It's the A side. So most of the time, that's in the first place, I believe. Anyway,
he's been there. Yeah, he's a former world champion.
Kevin is such an angry. I mean, I know I come across as angry, but I'm not really. Trust me, I'm not. You meet me on the streets or out partying, I'm a great guy to be around. It's just these fucking savages I have to surround myself when I come on this show. It makes me angry, like Kevin. But Kevin's an angry, bitter little man. I don't know what's wrong with him. I mean, he really needs to get out of the house a little bit more. Stop worrying about what people on the BDA have got to say.
I think you need to take him under your wing and show him the ropes of life. I think that's what he's looking for, you to help him. That's his cry for help.
If I took Kevin out with me, he'd get slept on the first night by someone with his whiny little ways.
Looking for guidance, right?
Yeah, he's looking for guidance. Come on, I see it all the time with my students. By the way, shout out to Michael Poe, who donated the super chat. He says, "Great consistency with shows throughout the week. So now it's out. So now that it's out, do you guys believe that they are BSing everybody?" Oh, I think he's talking about the Fury Joshua announcement. And then Chris K, shout out to Chris K for his contribution, says, "Danny Swift about to take over 154. Laughing my fucking ass off." Yeah, Danny Garcia, apparently.
That's a bad move, man. That's
Yeah.
already at
Do you know what makes me laugh, though? Do you know what makes me laugh about this Joshua fight? These AJ fans, all of a sudden, they've got their fucking voice back, haven't they?
Yeah.
You know, talking about knocking Fury out in round 5. Yeah, you know, all because he beats Pulev up. I mean, Pulev, I said that wouldn't go long. Pulev, well, his name says it all. I mean, that's where we are with Pulev. So he beats that fucking bum up, and all of a sudden, he's too much for Fury. I mean, these AJ fans, almost as bad as the Wilder fans. Honestly, they are. And they've got their voice again.
So you're making a
they
good point.
They were like fucking Minnie Mouse when he was fighting Ruiz. Didn't want to say even the build up to the second one. Shit in their pants. Now all of a sudden, got hanging the balls out again, haven't they? Because he's had one good one.
Are we anti-Joshua because I
no, anti-bullshit. Anti-bullshit. That's what we are. And look, this is the thing with Joshua fans. You say anything about Joshua, and I've defended Joshua more than most people on this show. Yeah, I still get stick when I say certain things about him. I'm just here to call it as it is. And these Joshua fangirls are fucking embarrassing. They really
that's what
are.
I don't get.
And the way they're talking Fury down. No, the way all of a sudden Wilder's a fucking bum. Yeah, you can't box. He's a bum and all that. Like, but then why didn't AJ fight him? He fought everybody but fucking Wilder.
Look, listen. Sometimes
say what you like, and then
Mr. BDA, you need to address the comments that we've been receiving on that video that you posted.
Well, I wanted to say something first.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I'll do that. But it's interesting because Stu sort of gets the same thing some of us get with Canelo. Because some people say we're Canelo fanboys, then other people say we don't give Canelo his respects. So it's the same thing with Stu. Some people say he loves Joshua. I mean, I remember when Joshua lost to Ruiz, people in the chat like, where's Stu? He's gonna jump off a bridge. Then there's other people that think he's a Fury fanboy. So it's like sometimes you can't win. Some fans, no matter what you tell them, they just don't get it. It's they're the fanboys, so they don't want to.
I mean. Listen, they've got me horribly wrong if they think I give a flying shit when a fighter loses. And do you honestly think I'm going to throw myself off a bridge because a millionaire guy lost a fight? Fucking get out of here, man. This is how sad some of you guys are. Look, I came on the show and ripped Joshua a new one for his performance, didn't I?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, what? Yeah, I mean, look.
Then you praised him when he came back and did all the right things. He did what he had to do.
Yeah, because look.
Because you're praising
I praise Joshua because he showed professionalism. He showed what it takes to be a champion. You go back to the drawing board. You make adjustments,
which isn't easy for a multi-millionaire who's already established his lifestyle.
Yeah, you face your demons head on, and that's what he did. Listen, he had a lot of pressure on him, Joshua, because if he got knocked out again, there's no turning back for him. Who's going to call for Joshua Wilder, Joshua Fury? Nobody.
Right, if there was anybody who had an excuse, if there was anybody who had an excuse to fold, right, it was him after that. Weaker men would fold. I gave him a lot of... When he came back and did what he had to do, my respect level went for him. But like you, dude, I don't have a dog in the fight. I personally don't care who wins, and I love it. I actually love it that I'm not emotionally involved. The only thing I'm hoping for is a good fight. That's all.
I mean, it's just funny how all of a sudden everyone's jumped on the fucking Joshua bandwagon. I've noticed a lot of African Americans have as well that were pre-Wilder fans. They need a brother to back. Wilder's not going to be around much longer, so they're going to get on Joshua's fucking arse now after calling him a steroid-eating, cherry-picking bum.
They've called all kinds of things, yeah.
This is where we are with boxing, mate. It's just a haven for cornballs, and this is why I am like I am. Trust me, you meet me on the street, I'm a lovely guy. Fucking help anyone have a laugh with people. That's why I got so many friends. But when you get me on, It's like I change into a demon when I'm in this fucking place.
Jeez, Louise. All right, now listen.
They put you on your back foot because you come in, you get swung on.
Well, this is it. Look, and it's over Joshua as well. Where Joshua, I've defended Joshua quite a bit. Where people were giving him. I've actually. That's why people think I'm a Joshua fan. Or some of them do, but because I think Joshua, what he's achieved in boxing, you can't knock. Whether you like the way he is as a person or whatever, that don't bother me. I'm here for the boxing, and you can't knock what he's achieved. 16 fights, beating Klitschko, fighting in front of 80,000, unifying the division. Fought all the best names, really, hasn't he? It's only Wild and Fury left for him, really. So you can't knock what he's achieved in the sport.
Absolutely. By the way, listen, I want to get to the
chats, I believe.
There's only one left. Shout out to Michael Poe, who says, check 1, 2, 3, and he's already making an early prediction. Fury on points. Oh, that's Michael Poe for you, going with Fury on points. Hey, by the way, I want to say something you mentioned.
Okay, go ahead.
About the, is it about the comments you were going to say?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay, so we did a video, I don't know if you guys saw it, but it's a video where we examine how much heart does Joshua have. We asked the question in the title of the video, does Joshua have heart? Because it's a bit of a clickbait thing, like we want to attract people, because that's really the onus.
We want to get people to have a discussion, right, in the comments.
Now, even in the video, I think about 5 minutes in, because it's a 10-minute video, we answer the question, yeah, he's got heart. Then we say, but now that we've established that, how much heart does he have? But it seems like nowadays with the internet generation, people don't even have 10 minutes to even at least listen to what we're saying. And so I think people just read the title and they go, okay, for example, there's this fella here.
That's
he goes,
exactly what they do, BDA. They're lazy. And they jump to conclusions. They read something. And when most of the stuff that you do watch all day is just clickbait trash, they should, you know what I mean? Yeah, no, you're 100% right. It's sad.
I mean, look, I've seen people in the chat predicting 5 and 6 round knockouts for Joshua. You want to hope that guy lasts 5, 6 rounds with the pressure that Fury's going to put on him. Look, Joshua, as a guy that has to fight at his own pace against plodders, I think anyone with a bit of movement, a bit of any sort of hand speed is going to be a problem for him. And so, look, this fight, if you think Fury's going to go in there and get blasted out of there, then I don't think you fucking understand what's in front of you. But look, no one's blasting Fury out there like that. But look, Joshua can win this fight, definitely. If Fury comes in out of shape and slow and lethargic, he's getting knocked the fuck out. I know that. So, but
he can't get dropped.
Joshua fans not even giving Fury 4 or 5 rounds like they've got some fucking chump in front of them. Yeah, Pulev can go 8 or 9, whatever it was. Come on, man.
Hey, there was this guy in the comment section of that video that Mr. BDA was talking about saying, you're not qualified to ask this question. I'm like, well, qualified? What do we need to get some? Where do we get the qualifications? I mean,
when people say, what's your qualifications for saying something about a fighter, or just say you've got fucking eyes and they work. That's the qualification.
But that's the dumbest.
Look, do you need to be an expert to know when you've got shit in front of you?
Yeah,
exactly.
See, I'm not a cast member. I'm born this way.
Yeah, do I need to be Sugar Ray Leonard to know what a fucking bum is in a boxing ring?
That's what I'm saying. Imagine you're watching a soccer game, a football game, whatever, and then somebody mentions oh no, you can't say that. You're not qualified. You didn't.
Jose Mourinho's never played football in his life. Yet one of the greatest managers of all time.
Yeah.
Sometimes the best minds in the sport are people that have not participated in the sport. So it's just the way it is.
Yeah, man.
Adam Booth's never been a boxer yet. A very good trainer in his day. I don't know what's happened with Adam Booth. I think his arrogance and his attitude and his greed is what turns people off Adam Booth. But when it comes to reading the game and boxing, he's a very knowledgeable guy. But he never got into boxing. Half the time, that's why a lot of ex-boxers don't make good trainers, because a lot of them have been punched in the face too much. And a lot of them just, they don't read. Obviously, when they're looking at things, they don't see it from an outside perspective, because they're usually the ones in there, and it's different. When you're watching from outside, you can see what's going on. When you're in there, it's happened so quickly. So a lot of fighters, obviously, especially world-class fighters, they expect the same level from these guys that they used to have, and you're not going to get that. So that's why a lot of them don't work as good trainers. But
you
have to be
that type of appeal to authority, where people ask you, "Well, have you ever boxed?" When we get to that point, it usually means you can't debate what I just said. Like, why is so wrong about what's like? You know what I mean? When somebody says, "Well, how are you qualified to be making this?" Well, first of all, let's just stick to the argument itself. You know what I mean? When somebody starts saying that, "Well, are you qualified, or are you this, or are you that?" Like, that means you can't really debate on an even platform. Most of the time.
This is what I'm saying, but it doesn't make sense to me. Johnny Nelson was a reigning cruiserweight champion for years. Yet the guy said, Kell Brook's going to beat Golovkin, and Bellew's more technically gifted than Usyk. So this, does it mean that you know what you're talking about because you've been in the bottom? My guess, no, because Johnny Nelson proves that every week when he's on Sky Sports, and Carl the fucking contradiction Frotch.
Right. And by the way, guys, can you hear me as soon as I speak, or?
Yeah.
Okay. I can hear you clear as day.
Okay, because I thought I was delayed. I
can't hear you.
Okay, you know what? Recognize it. You fooled me once. Shame on you.
Time him out, please.
Yeah, I'm gonna kick first person we kick off the panel here in years.
I apologize. I already said I was sorry.
Hey, but I want to read another comment real quick. I don't want to read all the comments, but by the way,
we can't kick Recognize off. He's the only one that's got experience in the boxing ring.
No, that's true. And by the way, just real quick, I wanna.
We need a qualified guy, innit?
Real quick, I wanna.
Wait, Jimmy. You can't bypass.
Oh yeah, I forgot about Jimmy as well. Yeah, we got two qualified people to.
Hey, Gonzalo used to spar a shit though too.
And Gonzalo.
Can I say that's silly?
Yeah, because Gonzalo cutting people's ears off in Vietnam don't count. Gonzalo.
Oh jeez, my goodness.
No, the thing like you'll find with most look in almost any sport, you always think like these great, players in any sport. Gretzky, he said it. I can't coach. People would say, "Could you coach?" Figure the greatest hockey players. Like, no, I can't teach what I do. It's a lot of it's instinctive, and a lot of fighters, like you said, don't make good trainers. Trainers are the guys who training is a specific thing to be a boxing trainer. It's usually somebody who's been doing it their whole life. If I was a professional boxer, I'd want someone who started at the minors, training amateurs to a world level, because you showed you could bring someone from a fucking piece of clay right up to a world level, and then worked with pros, which is kind of a different beast.
Yeah,
but it's all about the mind.
Jimmy, I'm still one to believe that even with these guys that bring a kid up from a young age and take him to world championships and stuff. Even then, you still need the talent. You still need the tools. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I found that with a lot of these trainers that have done that with these kids, like Vergil Hunter for a start, what he done with Andre Ward. Andre Ward was a special talent because Vergil Hunter hasn't been able to do that with anybody since. Just like some of these other guys. I think you still need the tools in front of you.
That's right. Yeah.
You can't just take anybody, but yeah, obviously. If you have a bunch of people and talents equal across the board, I don't think that it's always ex-fighters make the good trainers. I really don't.
Mm-hmm.
They really do.
I think it's the brain.
They really do make good trainers. I've never seen a really good, like a boxer who's a world champion, Hall of Fame. Maybe I'm missing somebody, but maybe Bertie McGirt is the only one that I know of that like did a good job as a trainer.
No,
Rob McCracken. Rob McCracken was a decent professional.
That's right. I keep forgetting that McCracken was one too. Yeah, that's right.
But like world level, like you said, like world champion Buddy McGirt. Yeah, he's one of the few guys.
Buddy McGirt's the one that stands out. But when you see
he's
a lot
the one
of
that
the
stands out for me.
Yeah, it's just like Floyd. Floyd could never be a trainer because he's such a narcissist, right? There's just no way this guy is
him.
Yeah, but there's just no way this guy is going to put in the time and the effort to build these kids up. He's going to want them to be like him straight away. He's going to take over the press conferences, so they're going to get no experience in dealing with the media. It's just going to be a complete mess. And when Wilder was talking about going to Mayweather, I just thought this has got to be probably the most stupid thing Wilder's ever said, and that alone is some achievement. Do you know what I mean? So
you got to take what the guy has. And try to build on that. That's the most important thing. Develop a relationship with that person. It takes a lot for that. You got to build the trust between you and that person, and then on top of that, break down the style that you see and what's better for him.
Exactly, recognize the best trainers are the ones that see what they've got in front of them and just tweak the things they do well. Don't start trying to make things complicated, trying to make them fucking look slick and flick out the jab from the waist.
Smoked.
Hey, by the way, can I say something real quick? I want to say
whether it's senior.
Look what, like I said, Manny Stewart. Look what he did with Klitschko. Klitschko was getting knocked out and getting beat. Right? He saw what Klitschko's attributes were, and he just stuck. He made things simple for Klitschko. Yes,
on that.
Klitschko.
Well,
Yes,
you know what?
Klitschko was boring to watch, but he got Klitschko's best tools and made it work, and the rest is history. Same with Lennox Lewis. They're the best trainers, not the ones that are sitting in there giving about 20 instructions and none of them making any sense. Or you got Algieri's trainer talking about keeping them in the cage for 11 rounds, or Ben Davison fucking saying keep it at distance, and you know what I mean, flick out the jab, let's win this on the jab. That's the worst way you can fight.
Dance for me.
And then you've got Joe Gallagher. Then you got Joe Gallagher. It's going well. It's going to our game plan. We're 8 rounds down, but it's time to step on the gas now. You know, you got these fucking clowns giving out these instructions.
You know what's the worst thing about Joe Gallagher too? You know how when I realized Joe Gallagher wasn't a good trainer, when I noticed all his fighters fought the same style, which goes exactly to what Stu was saying. You never try to put your style into a fighter. One of the best trainers I ever met in my life told me straight up, the best trainers hide their fighters' deficiencies. So you accentuate their attributes and you you bury their deficiencies.
Yeah. See, when people talk about Freddie Roach and Freddie Roach didn't really do a lot with Manny. All he did is got Manny to sit on his punches a bit more, and that's about it, really. I mean, Manny Pacquiao was always that Manny Pacquiao. He improved a little bit, but he just technically polished him up when it come to punching and stuff, and that's all you had to do with Manny Pacquiao. What are you going to do with Manny Pacquiao to make him much better? He's already a great. You know what I mean? There's only so much you can do with someone like that. So he realised that speed and punching power was his attributes, and he polished it on them.
Instinct. Yeah, he had a gift of
instinct. Yeah, Stuart, when it comes to someone like Manny, I would imagine majority of it's just keeping his focus.
Yep.
You know what I mean? When you're at that level, I mean, he's a senator. What is a fucking trainer gonna be able to teach this guy who can do pretty much everything better than most people, right?
Yeah, do you know what made me laugh though, Jimmy? Yeah. Go ahead, bro. Sorry, you cut out.
No, that's good. Go ahead, brother.
No, I was going to say, do you know what made me laugh? When Ricky Hatton signed Floyd Mayweather Senior, and all these fucking clowns in England were going on like Hatton was going to come out looking like Willie Pep. Do you know what I mean? It's just not going to happen.
All the rolling.
It's true. I was about to say about Oscar De La Hoya, the same thing when he went with Floyd Senior. There's like he's implementing some sort of shoulder roll. It's like
yeah. No, mate. You can't turn Ricky Hatton into Floyd Mayweather. It was the worst decision Ricky Hatton made in his career.
Yeah.
Look, I'm not saying Floyd Senior is not a good trainer, but his style is not a Ricky Hatton style. He should have gone to someone like Freddie Roach or someone like that. That would have been perfect for him. But that's what I'm saying. Trainers, the best trainers are the ones that know what's in front of them and just tweak a little few things here and there. But then you've got your narcissist trainers like Ben Davison that try to make it all about them, and they'll make things difficult and make things try and look pretty so that it makes them look good. I hate that in a trainer.
Well, if I can say 3 things
Joe
about
Gallagher's
that.
another one.
Yeah, 3 things about the trainers. One, changing trainers, especially after a loss, is sort of a confidence booster. It's sort of like the fighters trying to shift the blame from, it wasn't me, it was the trainer's fault. 2, it's a PR tactic too, to tell the press, like, hey, look, we got a new trainer, it's going to be different now. And 3, some of the best trainers aren't former great fighters, because they always say that the theory is that sometimes great fighters try to tell their current fighters who are less good than they were, hey, you got to do this, you got to, like, in other words, they expect them to do the things that they were able to do before, and those guys just can't do that. That's one of the theories that some people have posited about why great fighters don't make for great trainers. I don't know, man. It's
that's what I'm saying. This is why I think trainers, I mean, it's very important to have trainers, especially as a young fighter coming up in career and you're learning, and you need someone beside you to bring you up and teach you the ropes, sort of thing. But when you're a seasoned world-class fighter, trainers are just there basically to fucking get the stall out at the end of the round and take your gum shield out for a bit. I mean, let's be real. There's not a lot they can do, because when you're in there, game plans go out the window. Like Mike Tyson said, they go out the window when you get punched in the face, and they do. And it's you have the best fighters are the ones that are just on the job. They You can't think of a game plan that's going to work and that's stick by it and it's going to work all the time. No, you have to adjust into when the fight's going on because certain things will come your way and you have to react to it. Do you know what I mean? So game plans, you can just give them the little basic instructions. That's the best trainers, not these ones that get their fucking blackboard out and they've got about 40 instructions. In the second round, I want you to do this. You know, get out of here, man.
And by the way, real quick, we got 2 phone calls here, so let's go to real quick. 207, you're on the air. 207, you're on the air. Oh, hold on a second. I always mute. Hold on a second. There you go. 207, you're on the air.
Am I here?
Yes, you're on 207. Is this Matt Chad?
Yeah, this is Matt Chad.
How you doing, man? Thank you for calling in, man. What's on your mind?
Oh man, it's Happy St. Patty's Day. Happy St. Patrick's Day to you
Happy
guys
St.
up
Patty's
there. You
Day,
guys
man.
really run fucking hard. You guys are running Dublin style. You're running for the fields of Athenry. Thank you, guys. When Irish eyes are smiling, thank you.
Matt Chad, are you Irish?
We're all
Irish origin?
We're all Irish today.
Yeah, that's true, yeah.
You bear shit in the woods, but everybody's Irish today. Everybody's Irish today.
Absolutely. So what's on your mind?
Irish town, I know.
John Cully, Mickey Ward,
John
and Jerry
Cully.
Cooney. I'm even watching some Peter McNeely today.
Oh, come on. Well, I mean, you don't have to go that far, man.
Oh, I'm drinking
John Cully fighting
the
today?
beer out of the river.
All right, so what's on your mind, Matt?
Today?
What's on my mind is John Cully. I don't think this kid's getting enough respect, especially on St. Patty's Day. I mean, he's all tatted up. He's about 6'3". He's long as hell. He looks like he could dunk the basketball. I think he came from the tenement buildings. He's a tough kid. And I was so impressed with his footwork, the way he fights at all these angles. He has a chip on his shoulder. Today's St. Patrick's Day. I will die for Ireland. Unrivaled boxing. Yeah.
All right, there you go. Yeah, give a shout out to Unrivaled.
I like the spirit, man. I like the spirit.
Oh, he hung up. Okay, so I guess he was just pumped up for whatchamacallit, St.
Yeah, I forgot to
Patrick's.
say today St. Patty's Day, man. Where I live at, they definitely remind you.
St. Paddy's Day, I mean, it's just good for a good piss up, isn't it? Everyone becomes Irish on St. Patrick's Day, just as an excuse to have a fucking piss up.
Ah, okay.
I've had some fun on St. Patty's Day in New York. That's
no, I'm not. No, because when Irish people get drunk, it gets messy, doesn't it?
Jump around. Jump up.
Yeah. Wait, there's no parade this year. Fuck.
Nah, there's no parade, but I tell you right now, like where I live at, is predominantly Irish, and they're having fun. I'm sure somewhere.
Yeah.
Because I see all the beads, the green hats, they're everywhere.
And the fat Irish tits, that's what you got to see too. It is St. Patrick's Day. By the way.
I'm a good boy, man. I'm a good boy.
Oh, come on. All right. Shout out to Brian.
Them Irish chicks will give you a night to remember, recognise. Trust me on that.
That's right. I've been with a couple of Irish lassies myself, let me tell you. Shout out to Brian, who says Terence Crawford
What was their porn star names? I'll look it up, please.
Shout out to Brian, who says Terence Crawford is beating Ortiz. And then shout out to Brian again, who donated with the super chat. And he says, oh shit, hold on. Oh yeah, he said thoughts on Eddie Fudge, who trained Joe Frazier and Riddick Bowe. Well, those are just two of the names he donated. He trained, not donated.
And Ken Norton and Alexis Arguello and Larry Holmes and
that's right.
My friend Brandon Mitchum.
Yeah, Eddie Fudge is a proper trainer. When I'm talking about these trainers and talking shit about them, I'm talking about trainers like Ben Davison and Gallagher and people like that. And there's a lot in America. I mean, these days, all you got to do is put a gold chain on, smoke a cigar, you're a trainer, aren't you?
Exactly.
Stu, it sounds to me like you're trying to differentiate between a trainer and a cornerman. Like Angelo Dundee was a cornerman, yet he got credit.
Yeah, but it's the same thing, isn't it? It's the fucking same thing.
Not really.
Well, yeah, no, but your idea of trying to sit. Look, anyone can sit there and encourage someone to do an extra 5 press-ups. I'm not on about them guys. I'm on about guys that can fucking teach fighters in the ring and read the game, see what's in front of them. Not people
actual teachers
just sitting there. Yeah, no, you're on about personal trainers, fitness instructors, basically. That's what they are. But no, I'm on about a proper trainer is a guy that can bring something to the fighter, but obviously don't make it too complicated where, you know, you confuse them. They're the best to train. Like I said, sometimes just little tweaks make the difference in a fight, you know. And I feel with a lot of trainers, they try to make it about themselves to get a name for themselves. They come up with some ridiculous game plan and then get in their fight and knock the fuck out, like Ben Davison nearly did with Tyson Fury. Let's be real, fractions of a second away from being stopped, and that's down to poor corner work from Ben Davison. I don't care what anyone says, that was dreadful corner work. And if I can give you a game plan how to beat Wilder, I even said how to beat him. I even said if Fury fights like that, he stops Wilder in 7, and that's what happened. And I'm no fucking boxing genius. I can see it. Yeah, this guy can't. Do you know why? He probably could see it, but he wanted to make it all about him. Oh, dude, what a game plan Ben Davison come back with, bringing Tyson back from the dead and coming out with that. All about him. Trust me, I see through narcissists, and a lot of trainers are.
Yeah,
that means you can see through me.
I definitely agree with a lot of that. That some of them, the ones, especially the style you're referring to, are the ones that are making it about themselves. I'm the reason why this fighter is great. And a true trainer, not a cornerman, true trainer, is behind the scenes guy. He doesn't take a lot of credit. He knows it's his teachings that's doing it, and his reward is just being part of the sport and making someone's life better.
That was my point, Jay. You just said it a bit better than I did. That's basically what I'm saying.
Yeah, we think alike sometimes.
Sometimes.
All right, Mr. BDA, let's take a phone call.
All right, let's go to...
Until it comes to Riddick Bowe and Lennox Lewis.
Oh, come on. Let's go to... A rematch is required. Let's go to 773. You're on the air, 773. What's on your mind?
Kevin.
If Mikey Garcia fought Manny Pacquiao, BDA family will be talking about it's the Mikey Garcia fight. You guys gonna watch the Mikey Garcia fight? No, not the Manny Pacquiao.
No, he wouldn't. You know it.
No, we wouldn't. Stop it, man.
It'd be all about Mikey Garcia. And the same thing with Terrence Crawford.
We love Mikey, man.
Be all
He still looks close.
Come on, you guys put Okolie. Oh, you guys gonna watch the Okolie fight? Not Krzysztof Glowacki, 2-time cruiserweight world champion against the regional champ. The dude has been in there with Usyk, Cunningham, Breedis. You go down the list, and he's been in there with them. But
he's lost to all of them too.
Well,
he beat Cunningham.
Sure, yeah. What? 7 years ago?
Usyk his toughest fight. He probably gave Usyk his toughest fight.
And how was Cunningham when that happened?
40. I think.
You disrespected Glowacki.
All right, but listen, Kevin, I know you're half kidding, but I'm interested in getting who you think wins the fight. Who do you think wins the fight? The Polish King, as Recon has just said, or the prospect? Ayoka. I was going to call him Ayoka. Who do you think wins the fight?
Okolie hasn't fought anybody. He's unproven. He's got no credible wins on his resume. Okolie,
yeah, but this is the thing where boxing fans go wrong, Kevin. Every fighter is at that point in their career at one point. You have to go and prove yourself eventually. So just because he hasn't fought anyone of Glowacki's level doesn't mean he can't win the fight. Floyd Mayweather never fought anyone of De La Hoya's level. Won the fight. It happened. We have to beat someone to break through. This is Okolie's chance. All right, I'm not saying Glowacki's a major star. He's not. But he's a big enough name, and he's a good opponent for Okolie. Tell us where he is. So every fighter has to fight that fight where they've never been in it with anyone like this before, and it's a test for him. We'll know where Okolie is after this, and that's what I want. I want fighters to be in there getting tested, not just steamrolling these guys, hitting them, they fall over, night's over. I don't want that.
It's going to be like Kovalev versus Yard, another hype job who gets knocked out.
So you're going with
you can say what you like about Yard. You can say what you like about Yard, but how many Americans with the inexperience of Yard wanted to fight fucking Kovalev? How many of them did? None. That's the answer.
Yeah, that's
so don't talk to me about Yard. Yard went over to Russia to fight Kovalev. How many Americans, right, would go over to fight Kovalev in Moscow? I mean, Deontay Wilder had to basically make up some drug excuse to stay out of Moscow when he was trying to fight Povetkin. Shit his pants. Didn't want no part of it. Yard, say what you like about Yard. He went over there and fought Kovalev, the world champion, dangerous guy in Russia. Mate, gets my respect.
I think Kevin's getting schooled right now.
Step aside money too. He had the chance to get step aside money, but he thought, oh, we got this old Kovalev, washed up Kovalev. I'm just gonna go over there and knock him out real quick. Then I'll be next in line to fight Canelo. Nope. No
one picked Yard to win that fight, Kevin. Nobody picked Yard to win that fight.
Nobody with a reasonable boxing mind picked him to win.
All right, but if I hear correctly, Kevin, you're saying Glowacki is going to win this fight. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, that's what he's saying.
Well, the fight is in England, so.
Oh.
Come on! You gotta go. You gotta go with your gut instinct.
We're going with Polish. So you're picking Polish Thunder, is what you're saying. Listen, my prediction.
Where did the Kovalev? What's the other guy? Yeah, British guy he fought.
Kovalev versus Yard. You mean?
Yard. Wasn't that fight in Russia? Wasn't that fight in Russia?
Yeah, it was in Moscow.
That's what I said, but he went to Russia to fight Yard. Kovalev, sorry.
He got beat up, but he still went out there and gave an effort. He tried to take his head off.
He nearly stopped Kovalev.
I mean, he had him rocked. There's no doubt about that. He was rocked. He was in trouble with that.
Can I ask, what was Kevin upset about that Polish kid? What, because you didn't name him in the title?
Yeah. This is
but he's not even like an undefeated, so he's not a hot up and coming fighter who's undefeated. He's the dude who lost to Reyes, he lost to Usyk. So at this point, let's be honest, he's a gatekeeper.
But he's Polish, though.
Wait.
Kevin's going with a gut
losing to Bradis and Usyk is a bad thing? World championship?
No, but he lost.
Kevin, listen.
But he still lost.
Doesn't matter.
Look, this is what I'm saying. Stop talking about fight. Oh, God.
You're just, come on, Jim. Think clearer. He's a proven veteran, the established name with the veterans on his resume. Okolie, who hasn't beat nobody. That's why Glowacki deserves the title, deserves the A-side, deserves the respect. Not Okolie.
You remind me of one of them whiny little left-wing snowflakes that just want to moan and whine about anything they can fucking think of.
Are you saying Kevin is Antifa?
You just find anything to moan at. But look, no one gives two shits about Glowacki. He's a Polish bum.
Oh, come on. Now, wait a minute.
That got fucking serious quick.
Gene's wearing Angloid. Come on, Angloid head.
Say Angloid. He always is so Angloid.
He lost to Brayus. I saw that fight.
I mean, Bradis was dirty in that fucking fight. I will say that, but he did lose.
But my point is, nobody's expecting this kid to go on to be world champion. Is all I'm saying. I'm not disrespecting him. I'm just saying he doesn't.
I agree with
you. Top banner.
Glowacki was very solid going into that Usyk fight. He was a solid opponent for sure.
All right, let me. Is he on Twitter? Are you on Twitter, dude? Kevin, are you on Twitter? Well, I bet you probably been kicked off if you tried. But are you on Twitter?
No, I'm not on
Sorry, do you know the funny thing?
I was going to say, tweet about that kid Golovkin. Go, if you are, say, hey, listen, tweet us something. Let's see how much love it gets. I'm just saying, he's just not. You know what I mean? He's just not that guy.
Yeah, he's not a big name. That's
when Tyson fought Trevor Berbick.
What's your point, Jim?
Trevor Berbick had more experience, right? But they weren't talking about Trevor Berbick. Oh, this is the Trevor Berbick fight. No, they were talking about Tyson. He was the up-and-coming guy, right? The up-and-comer. And
they were expecting that to be a coronation moment, which it was.
Exactly. So this is the coronation of
Tyson.
You're missing the point.
And Glowacki's and Pacquiao. Like you were trying to make Michael Pacquiao. I mean, come on.
Great point.
Look, in the chat, we've got a guy in the chat. Hang on a sec. We've got a guy in the chat talking about Polish hate, right? There's a guy in the chat talking about Polish hate. We're not giving no Polish hate, right? If anything, Kev comes on here and gives the Brits pure hate constantly. So it's never about Polish hate. It's about giving Kev a bit of his own medicine. But look, what Butcho's just said's right. You know what I mean? We're not here to please. Glowacki fan.
Hey, and all I've ever done was
When he does
compliment
something worth
Poland,
talking
including their
we'll talk
food.
about it.
Did I say that?
All right, listen, Kevin.
No,
if it's
I'm making a point. I'm making a point.
I like a poker as much as the next guy.
exactly Polish sausage. I mean, come on. Listen, Kevin.
I think Kevin's joking around. He knows.
Yeah, he's joking around.
Yeah, he's trolling. He's throwing out a fucking long. He's long lining us right now.
Hey, mate, we've got a word called banter in the UK where you troll people, you wind them up, and it's quite funny, but there's nothing funny about Kevin.
Oh, come on. I disagree. I think he's got potential. Now, Kevin, if my
He's always on his high horse, isn't he?
Well,
He's
listen.
always on his high horse.
If he wasn't
the
like-
Harrison had
You
potential.
you always got some arrogant take with your high horse take. Just
Yeah,
shut
so
up.
I'm arrogant when it comes
You're
to
always
you
the
because I'm
loudmouth.
above you.
You're
That's
always
why I'm
got a
arrogant.
loudmouth,
You are
arrogant take.
bottom of
Shut
the
up.
barrel. You are in the pits of hell. That's why I'm better than you. That's why I'm arrogant. No one else I'm arrogant, just you. I'm arrogant because I'm better than you, and you're a loser. How about that?
Oh, come on. Now, wait a minute. Now, listen, Kevin, I will say this. My prediction is I think Glowacki is going to give Yoka. He was calling me Ayoka for some reason. Okolie. I think he's going to give him a very
Can't
tough
even
fight.
say his name, and you got him in the title. Come
That's
on,
right. That's a great point.
think
That's a great
about
point.
it.
But hold on. My prediction is I think he's going to make Okolie look bad, but he's going to land the harder punches and they're going to give him the decision. And I predict you're going to come back and you're going to say, oh, see, another British hype job, blah, blah, blah. So that's my prediction. I don't know. Prove me wrong, Okolie or Glowacki, because maybe Glowacki does get the
thing
win.
is, though, even if Glowacki wins that fight, I'm going to come on the show, break the fight down, and give Glowacki all the credit he deserves. Because guess what? I don't care if Okolie wins or not. I'm not like Kevin. My life doesn't revolve around another man's achievements. So I'm going to stick. Look, Glowacki's a live dog in that fight. You know, Okolie's not exactly set the world alight, is he? But I think if Okolie lands clean, night.
That's right. Well, listen, Kevin, we got to move on.
Yeah.
Because this conversation has gone long enough.
You said Bohovich was going to lose out to Adesanya. Remember that one, Stu? Did you ever respond to that? You ever give him credit for winning? Say you were wrong?
I never even mentioned that fight, Kevin. What world did I talk about this fight? I didn't even know that fight happened until you mentioned it to me. I don't even know who that fucking Polish guy is you're talking about. I had to look it up. I've never heard of him. I don't even know what you're talking about.
I'll go back and find it. You said it. I'm 100% certain.
Go find it, please.
You'll be looking for a while then, because it didn't happen, Kev. In the world we live in, it did not happen. I don't know about the one you live in, but I didn't even know Adesanya had moved up in weight to fight this Polish kid. I didn't know. You had to tell me about it.
I gotta tell you, Stu and Kevin, it has to be the best combination on this platform, and that's my opinion, man. I don't know.
That's
All
what
right.
he does. He's a liar.
He's lying.
All right, listen, Kevin, we gotta go. We gotta move on. But thank you for your call, Kevin. Caller of the year. And Kevin, I'll give you the last word. Go ahead. No, he hung up. I thought he was gonna do his usual patented fart. Yeah, mouth fart. All right, well, listen, fellas, phone lines are open. Just call in. All right, so listen, everybody's here. I wanted to get your opinions then on the Fury AJ fight, because you guys weren't here when I did a impromptu show when the announcement came out. Let's start with Gonzalo, because he's been pretty quiet. Gonzalo, are you there?
Yeah, how's it going, BDA?
Good. Thank you for being on, man. Always appreciate it. Listen, Fury Joshua, Gonzalo, you're a purist. Other than the hype and all that this fight is going to get, do you think it's going to be a good fight in the ring? I mean,
I really do. I think it's going to be a good fight, because this is the thing with Joshua. Although he looked a little hesitant and a little shook after the Ruiz fight, and he boxed on the back foot, he came back and got the knockout against Pulev. Because in the heavyweights, what they do is they try to hurt you with that one punch to destabilize you. And once they hurt you with that one punch, they'll go for the kill. Because when you land one shot as a heavyweight, man, you could turn somebody's lights out. So you got to be careful for that first punch. But, he will always have that punching power. So why would you want to make it into a boring affair against a good boxer like Tyson Fury and have him stick around for the entirety of a 12-round fight, where you could resolve the fight early or at some point, other than having it go the distance? Because if you have power, man, you got to take advantage of your natural weapons that God gave you. Mm-hmm. And if you have a good fighter like Fury coming in and trying to tire you out and have it to like where you know that you're that you're Anthony Joshua and you might not have the gas tank in the latter rounds. Why would you not want to use those natural tools that God gave you, those heavy hands, to resolve the fight sooner rather than later? And that's what you do. Like, if you land that first punch and you put him on Queer Street, then fucking go for the finish. And that's why I think it's an exciting fight. And the same thing could be said about Tyson Fury. Although he's a boxer, he weighs 270. He has a lot of weight behind his shots. And if he hurts Joshua, it's in his best interest, like he did with Deontay Wilder, to get the job done. You don't want these guys sticking around to the latter part. That's all.
Well said, Gonzalo. Good points, brother. And do you know the thing that with Fury, I'm just not sure with him because he's so unpredictable. I don't know if he's trying to wind Joshua up or trying to fucking troll him, saying he's drinking and eating and getting fat and stuff. I don't know what this is all about, or he is actually losing the plot again. I'm just not sure. Well, you just don't know with Fury if he's trying to fucking troll Joshua. But if he is blowing up and drinking again, then that's a worry. And this is the problem with Fury. Sorry,
that's why I don't trust. That's why
exactly.
I don't trust
this is my problem with him.
I don't trust.
This is my problem with Fury, right? The longer you keep him out of the boxing ring, the worse it's going to be for him, and the worse shape he's going to be in. And look, Bob Arum yet again left it too late to get Fury in there, keep him busy when he was in shape, training at home, looking slim. Look, for me, Joshua has a better chance now. If that's the shape Fury's in, you're going to have to fancy Joshua a bit better now. But I still fancy Fury.
Well, that's why I'm thinking about Fury.
If he can get off the couch and do what if he can get off the couch and did what he did against Wilder, then I'm sure he's going to be in better shape this time around. I think he can do it against Joshua. But it's 50-50 now.
It's 50-50 for sure. But that's why I'm taking him in the first fight. I think the second fight, I think the first fight, I think it's going to be competitive. These guys are going to be very competitive. It's going to be a close fight. It's going to go the distance more likely. AJ's going to probably get the nod on the scorecard. We're going to look back and be like, how serious was Fury going into this fight? In terms of training and stuff like that. And then in the second fight, it'll be probably a different ball game.
So that's possible. Go ahead. No, Jimmy, you go first.
Well, I was just going to say real quick, my opinion how this fight's going to go is simple as this. It's every opportunity Joshua has to be in his punch position, meaning if he has a chance to have his feet planted, he better take the opportunity to throw, because, again, that's all Fury's going to do all night is never let him set his feet. It's all you're going to do with a big guy like him, or you're going to get arm punches coming at you. He's just going to fucking turn him and keep trying to make him. But, again, you can't always keep people out of it. So when he has the opportunity and his feet are planted, he can't be hesitant, because sometimes he gets a little hesitant, and Fury's just not the guy to be hesitant with. Because if it comes to ring IQ, Fury is, I personally think, is going to be the best he's faced, and he can exploit you. In my opinion on Fury's talk, with that stuff he's been saying, I believe for the same reason why 2 days before they announced the signing of the fight, he's on some fucking YouTube channel saying, basically, if you just go by him, you would think this fight wasn't happening. Why do you think he did that? For the same reason, he's not stupid. He knows where all this bullshit from fucking Wild is coming from, what's feeding this monster, and he knows they hang on every word he says. I would bet fucking big money, and I'm not even a gambler, that he totally knew this was coming out, so he said that on purpose to watch all those assholes, and they are assholes, and they look like assholes for the videos they made, and he made them all look like donkeys, and I swear to God, I believe he did that on purpose. Big time, dude. He's a smart and he admits that. So I think he did it on purpose to make all those idiots make those videos, and they look like donkeys. And this thing about the food, he's just telling John, you're not going to know with him. He's going to do this. He's going to play my games.
This is why I wasn't sure. It's not like I believe. I'm just not. You're just never sure with this guy. But the one thing I am sure, the longer this guy is at the ring, the less chance of fights is kind of happening, because this guy could just go off the rails at any minute.
Does anybody know where he's living now?
Very unstable. But look, I think Fury's going to go in there. I think he's going to make this quite boring. I think he's going to use the straight punch, the jab, the big straight right hand. He's going to hold and maul Joshua in the hold. Basically drain his energy from like he did with Wilder. And that's where Joshua is going to struggle because Joshua's tank, it's not the best. It just really isn't. And Fury can go 12 rounds comfortably. I think Fury's going to make it messy, maul him. He's going to be fucking hold him from one end of the ring to the other like he did with Wilder at times. It just drains all the strength out of your legs. And I think that's what he's going to do. I think if he sits there and tries to get into a war with Joshua, I think Joshua's just too explosive for him and he'll knock Fury out. I think Fury has to make it very Klitschko-like, Lennox Lewis-like in this one. And then I think he gets the job done.
Stu, who do you think has a better or a harder right hand, Klitschko or Joshua?
They're different sorts of power, aren't they? You know, but I think if Joshua, there's different sorts of power.
Concussive. All right, let's say concussive. Let's go with concussive power. Who had better?
I would say Joshua Joshua's a bit more. There's a bit more pop in that right hand.
You think? So more
of a thud.
More sting.
Joshua is more of a thud, and Klitschko had that turnover power that just puts your lights out.
Klitschko hits harder than both of them for me, but Joshua's got that. Joshua's got that power that can hurt you. I don't think Joshua's got that concussive knockout power like say a prime Tyson and them sort of people. You know what I mean? But he had that sort of power where if he hits you clean, then he's got you in all sorts of trouble. And Joshua's a very good finisher. He's a very good finisher, and that's why he's got a lot of stoppages. It's very rare you see Joshua hit someone clean and they're staying down. Very rare. They usually get up. But where Fury's got that sort of power, he can hurt you. But I just don't think Fury he follows up enough with shots. So when he's hurt you, he's not following up with anything to sort of like to get you out of there. And that's the difference, I think. There's not a lot of difference in the power, but I just edge Joshua, I think. A bit more cleaner as well with his punches.
Who do you think the longevity out of the ring is going to hurt the most? Can I pose that question, you guys?
Well, the thing with Fury's one of them fighters that he's built to fight 12 rounds comfortably, no matter what shape he's in. You just get certain guys like where Joshua has to be in shape all year round. I mean, Joshua is just his physique doesn't really suit boxing for me. So he's fighting a battle from day one. So he has to keep in shape all year. Where I just don't think that Joshua is going to be able to fight to his late 30s because his tank it would be ridiculously bad. So I think he's going to have a couple more fights with Fury and call it a day. I really do. I think he's coming to the end of his career. He knows that Joshua's not built to be fighting like Klitschko into his late 30s. You know, like Lennox Lewis and them sort of guys. Just not his style doesn't suit that sort of.
Do you think he's going to come in heavier or lighter?
Longevity, sorry.
Do you think he's going to come in heavier or lighter than he did against Ruiz?
I think he's going to have to come in. That's a good question, you know, Jimmy, because if he comes in light,
I've been thinking about the most.
Too light, if he comes in too light, then Fury's just going to maul him in the hold and take his legs from him. If he comes in too heavy, he's going to slow himself down.
That's his legs,
and his legs are going to slow down as well.
That to me, right? Isn't that the big question going into this fight? We know that Fury can handle that 273 pounds.
Yeah.
So what's up? The big question mark is Joshua and his weight. What will he come in at?
That was a bigger question that I realized that you just brought up now. I didn't think about it till now, Jimmy. But Wilder was 212 for the first fight. It's 220 plus for the second fight.
230.
You're right. I'm sorry, put on 20 pounds. So it's 231, I think, because I've talked about this before yesterday.
Yep.
Yeah, 231. So, and 231, he was still a lot smaller. Now, I don't know if Joshua can make 230 or 231. I've never seen him that light before that I remember because I don't remember what he weighed for the second.
Not a good idea for him to do that in this fight. Yeah, it's not. That wouldn't. No. I would suggest somewhere 245, honestly.
No more than 245. Anything more than that, he's going to wear himself out. Yes. I think Tyson Fury's smart enough to see if he weighs more than 245. I'm not going to lean on him right away. I'm going to wait. I'm going to move on and let him wear those legs out, and then I'm going to try and lean on him later when I feel like he's starting to gasp, when I see him starting to breathe through his mouth, when I see him start to drop his hands in between combinations. That's why,
Chief, I feel that Joshua can never really think of himself of having to become just like a boxer where he's going to go the distance with these guys. He's got to use his power. That's his best defense. His power is his best defense. Take care of the fight early. That way you don't expose yourself as long, as going like many rounds. Finish the fucking fight early. Finish the problem. What's in front of you. Take care of business.
Well, hey, by the way, didn't they Fury blamed the Wallin performance, right? On being too light, I believe? because he was in the upper 240-pound range, I believe.
Was he that light? Damn.
Well, let me check. Because BoxRec
He
is
did
really
look
giving.
slim. He did look slim in that fight compared to obviously his Wilder rematch.
The only problem I was going to say with Joshua Gonzalo, that the only problem that poses with him going in with that, which I agree with you. First off, I agree. I believe that's the strategy. He is his best offense. I mean, his best defense is his offense. But herein lies the problem. You don't get him out of there, and you fucking go. You swing for the fences, 3-4 rounds. That big guy, whoo, 10th to 9th, man. His lungs will be burning. His
when
legs
he's
will be
gonna
on
lean on
fire.
him.
Yeah, and that's when Fury will fucking go at. You know what I mean? And that's when you're easy to get knocked out.
Not
when your lungs are
recklessly.
burning.
Not recklessly, and I do believe.
No, I know you do, but even if it's not recklessly, say it's very, it's very, you plan everything out, every punch is thrown smartly. But if you don't connect, you've been in this game. It takes so much more out of you when you don't connect cleanly every time you throw big and miss. And if he goes in there with that game plan, I think he should mix it up a little. If he doesn't get him out in a round, don't go in the next round. Try it again. Maybe try to fucking move with him a little because I just think for him, if it does go in the later rounds, I'm telling you, that's when he'll be in danger with his legs burning and his lungs burning and his legs on fire and shit. So that's when you'd be easy for him to get stopped.
So
I think Fury takes a lot out of you mentally and physically when you're fighting him. I mean, you only have to look. The second fight, Wilder his legs were gone after 2 or 3. Fury can do that when he puts it on you, and that's what he's going to have to do with Joshua. You cannot be fighting at a slow pace against Joshua, letting him fight at a slow tempo where he can keep his tank, because that's what you got to take from Joshua. His tank's the first thing you got to try and take, and then the rest will come into play because he falls to pieces. So
and he's got to be the first one to do something, right? Is to be the first one to beat.
But obviously you can't be flying.
That's the big thing with their emotions too. A fighter, once he's been not just lost, you can lose a shitty decision. You're not going to affect your confidence as much. But when you get knocked out on a fucking big stage, I don't care what anybody says, man. That's in the back of your head. You already know you can be stopped. So how much again? There's so many outside things. You know what I mean? Make it interesting.
Because I still think Joshua has still not 100% got his confidence back in the boxing ring. All right, Pulev, he looked $1 million against Pulev, but everyone looks $1 million against Pulev. I mean, Klitschko's most dominant performance in the boxing room was against him, so it tells you what you need to know. I mean, I just think he's still lacking a bit of confidence. I still think he's stuck in between two styles. And
I think Joshua is kind of like he likes to take control of a fight. I don't know if you would call it like the alpha in the ring. Because when he fought Povetkin, we'll go back when he fought when he got hurt against Dillian White and Klitschko, then the Povetkin, when he got hit, he said, "Fuck that! I got to take control back of the fight." He's a good boxer where he utilized his timing and was able to take control of the fight and establish that, okay, that you trying to hurt me, I'm gonna take the fight back and I'm gonna knock you out. With Ruiz, he tried to do the same because he dropped him in the first fight, but the problem with that is Ruiz was too quick. And he was getting to him first, and that really surprised him. And he couldn't.
And he didn't take Ruiz serious. He was looking past him. Everybody knows it, and that, you know what I mean.
Andy Ruiz has got explosive punching in the pocket.
You guys see a picture of him the other day?
Jimmy. Even in the second fight, he was still dubious that, oh man, this guy might get inside the pocket and land shots, and I'm not going to see his hands, and he can hurt me again. That's why he was like retreating and still hesitating.
Ruiz, even in the second fight, Gonzalo, Ruiz was skimming Joshua. If Ruiz was in any sort of shape, he could have landed again. Like there were millimeters away. Some of them shots were millimeters away, and you could see it in Joshua's eyes, thinking, "Fuck me, I got away with that one," and it sort of made him quite hesitant. And that's what the fight became. It came him on the back foot, not taking any chances. But I get that. He was under a lot of pressure. He had to get the job done. Of course he did. But my
point is, but real quick, the last thing. My point is, I think he's a really good boxer. He's got skills and he can punch hard. But just the fact that Ruiz was just slightly quicker than him, that made him not understand fully what was going on. He felt that he did not have the control. Any other fighter that's not as fast as Ruiz, maybe there's fighters that hit harder than Ruiz. But
that's
he
yeah,
can
that's
feel
a
that
factor.
he can control what's going on in the ring. He'll be okay. Even if he gets hurt, Joshua will come back and hurt his opponent because he's not going to want to let up. But yeah, the confidence. That's the one thing. The confidence.
That's
so that gets into my question that you two are debating about. That my question is for you guys: who do you think's more mentally tougher? Who's got the edge?
Fury,
Mental
without
toughness?
shadow of a
Is it
doubt.
Fury? Okay,
Fury without shadow of a doubt.
Yeah, Fury, because he's never lost, and that makes a big thing in a fighter's thing. But just to back to Ruiz, I got to give him credit in this. I just saw a picture of him the other day, I think yesterday, training. He looks in fucking great shape for him. He really's lost. He looks good. And I'll tell you right now, if that's the fight they're going to be pushing for Wilder, Wilder might be getting a little more than he wanted.
Oh, mate,
So,
I think Andrew Ruiz wins that one. I just think stylistically, I think Ruiz is all wrong for him. But look, that one, the factor with the Ruiz Joshua was when you look back at it. Yes, Ruiz was quicker and more explosive when they were trading and first to the punch, but Joshua took his eye off the ball. The guy was going around on podcasts, rapping and shit. Getting his six-pack out everywhere. Looking far too big. He came over to America looking
he
like
was in South Beach walking around almost half naked and shit.
he did an Instagram shoot the day before, 24 hours before the fight. He was on the streets of New York doing an Instagram photo shoot.
In South Beach.
Yeah,
he was in South, dude. He look. I mean, he's already tan skin. He came in. He was glowing. How much sun he had.
Can you picture someone like Marvin Hagler who just died? You know what I mean? You think of him as a fighter. Could you picture him? Someone just even asking him, even just making that conversation. Hey, you want to do an Instagram shoot the day before a fight? He'd probably knock your teeth down your throat.
But I think what Stu said, he dropped the ball in that Ruiz fight.
Oh, of course, he didn't take it serious.
He dropped him. I mean, he dropped him, and he just goes in there so reckless, not realizing that this kid Ruiz is swift on the inside. That's what he is. That's the best way to. I know nobody likes to say
too arrogant. Recognize
swift.
Got too arrogant, too big for his boots, and this is what happens when you got yes men in your corner telling you how great you are every 5 minutes. Eddie Hearn's got a lot to answer to as well. Sucking up to this man made me sick to my stomach watching it, man. Oh, this guy's cringe. I mean, when he sees Joshua, his crutch starts to grow, doesn't it? Let's be real. I mean, fucking hell, the guy is an embarrassment, and it doesn't help. It doesn't help. So you start to believe your own hype. He thought all he had to do was turn up, land one on the button, and job done. Ruiz is a fucking world-class amateur, a seasoned fighter, a very good fighter at that, who was hungry at the time. And he took his eye off the ball, and it cost him dearly.
Yeah, but AJ is a gold medalist.
I just want to quickly, before I finish, and then you can move on, I just want to address a guy in the chat, because he's wondering why we think Fury is mentally stronger. I'm not talking about outside the ring. Outside the ring, Joshua, far stronger mentally.
More discipline. Yeah.
I'm talking about in a boxing ring. When you've ever seen Fury flustered, he doesn't waste energy on being nervous or fucking. You look at Wilder. He blew his tank before he'd even got in the ring in the second fight, where he's just pacing in the dressing room, looking nervous as hell, wasting energy. Where Fury's lying down on the sofa, sleeping. That's my point.
We mean fighter confidence.
Yeah.
What we mean when we say mental strength, it's fighter confidence. Yeah. It doesn't mean who's not going to be out fucking doing rails off a stripper's belly the next night.
Hey, by the way, can I make a suggestion here about a question I got rather, because one thing that I've been meaning to ask you fellas is, in the rematch, Joshua won. And it's not his fault that Luis turned into a fat pig, or a fatter pig, I should say. But considering that the guy showed up at near 300 pounds, considering that Joshua showed up lighter, knowing what to expect, he had the reach advantage, speed advantage, he really didn't look all that impressive if you think about it in the rematch. I mean, he had to do what he needed to do to get the win, just win and then look great in the next fight.
Like it was more of a mental. It was a mental fight. He was fighting. I mean, yes, he could have. Yeah, he dropped Ruiz in the first fight. He could have dropped him again in the second fight. He didn't do it. But you got to take into account what happened in that first fight. I mean,
Bucho, why didn't he
like trying? Go ahead, Rogan.
Bucho, why didn't he try to land that overhand right that he caught him earlier with throughout the fight, the one that cut him? AJ had every opportunity to do that when he paused with the jab, or he committed to the jab and just come with the overhand right, and he caught it with a big jab. The reason why he was afraid,
most eligible, yeah.
Exactly. He was afraid he was going to get clipped with something coming inside.
Oh, sorry, I thought I was muted.
So,
I'm sorry. No, I'm
No,
sorry.
sorry, dude. I thought it was muted. I was talking along with you. Sorry.
No. What I was going to say quickly, the reason he didn't commit, and I thought if he did, he could have did more damage because even though yes, Ruiz got he's got fast hands and he was coming close to like he was in with like centimeters of like catching fucking this guy excuse me, Joshua with a good shot. But that was because Joshua was hesitant. When you're hesitant, when you're like really hesitant because somebody knocked you out, it makes you make mistakes even when you're trying not to. So if he would have just
you're overthinking, maybe.
Right. If he would have just been loose, like he was letting those shots go in the beginning, probably knocks him out.
He probably gets him out of it. And he could have because it was a fatter version. It was a shittier version than the first one. So he could have.
He was shocked and amazed, and he got interviewed before that fight, the rematch, and he said something that I truly don't believe that he really meant. That he said, "Oh man, this guy's so big that they should make a super heavyweight division." But obviously, he's short. He's like 5'12". He's fat,
5'12",
and I don't.
6 feet.
Yeah, I don't think I don't think Joshua really meant that. But one thing he was shocked and amazed that such a fat guy had such quick hands. That even though in the rematch, well, he was weighing 300 pounds. He was north of the first fight. He was weighing more. He still thought, man, this guy got heavy hands. He might be fat, but if he
weighed more than 300, you think?
No, he's 285.
He was 25.
285. He was close to 300.
He might be fat, but if he unleashes those quick combinations, and put some of that weight behind it, he's still gonna fucking rock me.
Well, that's obviously Joshua didn't take some of his millions of dollars, dude. He should have just reached out. There was enough people in the world who knew about Ruiz. Like, how did he not know about him? You knew about Ruiz. You knew where he trained. Like, if he did just a little homework and knew in the fucking barrios where that kid fucking learned to fight, he should have known he would not to look past him. Is what I'm saying. I don't think he even watched film or bothered. I think he said,
I knew Ruiz was a good fighter. But I was surprised that he knocked him out because I still don't consider him like a true power puncher. But this just goes to show that speed and precise punching, man, can knock anybody out. And
dude, everybody was laughing at that fight. You're the only person who gave, and you said he has a chance to win, and you stuck to your guns. So you showed a lot of fucking,
AJ, like, listen, this is the credit that I give AJ. He took the rematch immediately after because a lot of people were, I think maybe even Eddie Hearn, like, thought about AJ having a tune-up fight or something. And AJ, anyways, he decided to get the immediate rematch. Yes, the fight was boring.
No excuses.
No excuse. No, he fought. He could, like, I'm with recognize he could have knocked out maybe Andy Ruiz. He decided not to do it. But the thing is, all right, he overcame that defeat. And my thing was, and I always said, if after the Ruiz fight he still fights like that, like scared, then I'm gonna have an issue. And then when he fought Pulev, I mean, he did get Pulev out of there, and so I was like, okay, he didn't really fight that scared. I'm still not really.
But then again, it's Pulev.
Yeah, right? It's Pulev, but still, I mean,
hey, can I say something about Pulev, man?
Of course,
I hate to be like I try to give the fighters the benefit of the doubt all the time, but Pulev really is a guy. I don't know how, because I've always heard people say, "Oh, Pulev, he's in the top 10. He's in the top 10." Guy compared to Joshua was really awful, man. I mean, he just didn't try in that fight. He did what he could, I suppose, but it was just I don't understand. I guess because he gave Klitschko like 5-6 good rounds of work or something, people elevated him.
I mean, people forget that.
Yeah, I heard he's an alcoholic. He stopped drinking.
People forget.
Well, I was gonna say I heard he was an alcoholic and he was drinking up until like 10 days before the fight.
Oh, I mean, he had outside of the ring issues. He had outside of the ring distractions from being in, basically face raping that girl and doing
come on,
stupid shit.
That girl?
I'm being sarcastic, but he grabbed it.
Yeah, she wasn't a girl.
He was in court for that just before that fight too. So I mean, he had outside of the ring distractions, which someone could say that's an excuse, maybe. But when you're the one that's sitting on the other side of the judge before a fight, let's see how clearly you're going to think.
That's true.
And how old was he by this time? He gave Klitschko some tough rounds. Keep in mind that Klitschko lost to Fury in 2015. So how many years ago was
he? Looked in great shape. He looked in boxer shape.
Yeah,
going into that fight. If he wasn't, he would have not kept getting up from like those knockdowns. He was fine. He just wasn't better.
The strategies to cover up and knock Joshua out, to find a moment to land your punch and get him out of there, because they think he's a little chinny. So their best shot is to cover up, find a moment, and throw that right hand or left hand and knock him out. This is what these guys are doing. But
the wrong game plan is to try to. I think the wrong game plan is to go in there and try to knock out Anthony Joshua, because I think that's when you underestimate him and he's catching you with the bigger shots.
Well, these guys are covering up. They're covering up. They're not giving a lot of exposing themselves, but then they're trying to do that. By doing that, Pulev made it into a boring fight, and that was only like his only opportunity. Look for the That
wasn't a boring fight. You thought that was a boring fight, Pulev and AJ?
No, it was all right. It wasn't that boring.
It wasn't competitive.
I mean, yeah, one guy was dominating, but
yeah, he did a good job, Joshua. I thought it was a pretty good fight, actually.
It was a good performance from Joshua, but what I'm saying is Pulev was outclassed from the beginning, was not going to do anything. And I do give Joshua credit for stopping him. But really, the guy, all Pulev did was take punches, try to act as if he wasn't hurt, scream as if he was enjoying the beating, which is only something I would do. And then that's essentially what he did. He went down afterwards. But like you said, recognize he was in shape. That you got to give him credit for being in shape too, because he kept getting up for more.
Because you don't keep getting up from knockdowns, right?
Exactly.
Like that's one of the signs of a guy's in good shape. Yeah.
And by the way, can I just say real quick? Don't forget, fellas in the chat, real quick, fellas in the chat. Don't forget to hit the like button. Hit the like button. It takes 2 seconds. Really helps us out. Really appreciate it. Go ahead, Jay. You were going to say something?
I just want to put a few things in perspective. We keep talking about Andrew Ruiz because he pulled off this big upset, and he deserves all the credit for that. 22 knockouts and 33 wins, and going the distance with Kevin Johnson isn't telling me that it was anything other than more than Joshua's chinny. He underestimated him. He left his chin out there, and a 250-plus pound man nailed him on the chin, and he went down from it. Holyfield never goes down by Andy Ruiz. Tyson never goes down by Andy Ruiz. Michael Moore does. Ray Mercer doesn't. Lennox Lewis might. It depends on the chin that goes along with
I agree with that.
the skill of the guy.
I definitely agree with that. Yes.
Let's just put it, and that's all there is to it. I'm sorry that I hold this over AJ's head because he took a guy lightly. A lot of people do. But to get knocked out that easily by a person that has zero tangibles over you, zero. His hand speed wasn't that much greater. Power's obviously not that much. It's not greater at all, by judging by the record and the quality of competition. You took a guy lightly and you got your butt kicked. You came back. And you came back well. And you used your skills. I'm thinking that corner had a situation of if the opportunity, if you see a safe shot of sending him down or out, take it. If not, go the distance.
Well, he's got two intangibles that are great. They're two intangibles that are always the best to have. That's a good hand speed. Great hand speed for heavyweight and a good chin. Because if you got a good chin, you can risk a little more than the guy that doesn't. Even though that other guy punches out harder, you can get inside and land your quick hands. And that guy with the bad chin is going to be the first to go. He's got those two intangibles: good chin and good hand speed.
And by the way, people in the chat room are going on about what are we talking about the chin or the temple? I think it's pretty common that when we talk about chin, we're talking about punch resistance, like you guys said, right? Like we're not talking about the chin itself. And also
punch resistance is. Go ahead, Gonzalo.
No, I just want to say, Ruiz got good. He's got good punch resistance and he's got great hand speed. Those are two good things to have. Joshua got great punching power, but not so great of a chin.
Well, listen, we're gonna have to see.
It's hard to not underestimate him. You look at his body. You look at him. Then you find out it's like almost kind of like too late in a boxing fight, and that's all that happened there. What happened there was he underestimated him. Maybe a little bit. He underestimated him. He saw that he dropped him. He tried to make something happen. He got caught. I don't really. It's a learning experience, right? Do I say AJ? Oh, because of that, he's just an easy person to knock out. No, not so easy. You gotta. There's got to be a game plan behind that. Because if you find yourself going there for the knockout, AJ will fuck you up.
That's right.
That's
yeah.
it.
Well,
He'll fuck your ass up.
Recognize when people say he just got caught, they make it sound like, like Lewis against Rotman. He just got caught. No, he got caught early and he took a beating there on out because he couldn't adjust. Mm-hmm. He couldn't get his faculties back together. by a guy again
case,
who's gone the distance 11 times, and again with Kevin Johnson of all people. So when I'm trying to put things in perspective,
Chief, but the thing about that, even though if Ruiz doesn't get guys out of there, he'll still win a lot of decisions because he's landing combinations. Even if he hadn't knocked Joshua down, I'm not saying that he would have won, but it still would have been a competitive fight because he still would have
Gonzalo, he's saying his point is that he's not a very big big power puncher. I think
he's not as big a power puncher as that fight indicates, number one. And number two, if it weren't for Joshua going in trying to look for the knockout, leaving himself open, we wouldn't be having this conversation at all.
Right. Well, look, and I'm not saying that I totally disagree with that, but he literally did just get caught. How he got caught? Trying to pick up on the damage that he just did. He just knocked him down. He tries to go in for the kill, and he gets caught. He thought wrong. Basically, he didn't think that this little fat chubby dude was going to be swinging back haymakers, catching him in the temple, and dropping his ass. That's literally just getting caught.
Yeah.
Now,
in other words, Ruiz didn't think it was a show. He thought it was a fight, right?
Not just that though. Like I hate using triangle theories, but look at how Ruiz looked against Parker. That was a competitive affair. It was a hard fight. I mean, they looked good in there. They fought.
That fight could have went to Ruiz. That could have went to Ruiz.
But when you saw Joshua against Parker. That's why I say I hate using triangle theories, but think of how Joshua looked. Think of how those two guys fought, Parker and Joshua. Very hesitant, very dubious on the back foot. They didn't want to make it like into a hard fight. But you know, if you put Ruiz with Joshua again, like this in the first fight, where Ruiz doesn't go for the kill, did you not think Ruiz would have pressed Joshua in the latter half like he certainly did and got him out in the seventh? But if Joshua wouldn't have risked as much. Ruiz would have still been in there to give Anthony Joshua a tough fight. That's what I'm saying. He's not just about the knockout part. He's a tough dude too.
Can I add another caveat to this conversation when it comes to this? Do you think, because now think about it, Joshua is Fury's gonna be the tallest dude I believe he's ever fought, which is gonna be at a big adjustment because usually Joshua is the bigger guy, and then on top of that, Fury's IQ, ring IQ, and then his check hook. He's got a really good check left hook. So Joshua can already be hesitant and letting his right go. Some people say he doesn't do it enough. I think Stu's even said he doesn't let his right go when he's had opportunities. You want to make a right-handed happy person, keep that right hand at home. Check him. You know what I mean? Keep him off balance and give him with check hooks. And I mean, I know Tyson Fury with the height, he has the height to do it. So I just think that's another factor that Josh is going to have to train with. It's going to be hard for him to find somebody.
I could be wrong about
that
this.
Height.
I could be wrong about this, but so far AJ has proven to me that when it comes to guys around his height, like maybe even an inch taller, I get the feeling he does better with those guys because he's punching at his level. I think that's where he's like really good at.
How tall is he?
6'4". I think he's 6'6", or 6'5". And where if you AJ,
What's that?
According to BoxRec, he's 6'6", and Fury's 6'9". Yeah. I'd really, maybe Fury would be a different ballgame because of his elusiveness. But I don't think he'll lose because we'll look at it and say Fury's height really was what really won that fight. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be one of those things where either he can mentally keep it all together, at least for most of the fight, and win that way, or he can't. I think really when it comes to AJ, it's all about that. It's all about the mental game. Is he going to be mentally prepared for what Fury's going to bring? Right, because Fury could do a lot of things.
Who do you think was the guy in China?
Sorry, Jimmy, sorry to interrupt, but real quick, we got a phone call here. And by the way, fellas, don't forget to hit the like button. Hit the like, please. Really helps us out. Let's go to 262. 262, you're on the air. 262, what's on your mind?
262.
Hey, better. Swing better. What's up, guys? How you doing?
Oh, is this Johnny Boy?
Yeah, it's Johnny Boy.
How you doing, man?
What's fucking nothing. So here's the
JB.
thing. Okay, Andy Ruiz. What up, brother? Andy Ruiz didn't land a lucky punch. The fat fucking roided up Brit took him lightly. He was a 33-1 underdog, and he got his fucking shit pushed in. That's what happened. Fuck that. Landed a lucky
He got his
punch.
shit
My balls.
pushed in.
My balls. Now, hang on. Now, landed a lucky punch. My balls. He's fighting a guy that's a foot shorter than him, the 33-1 underdog. He rushed in there and got winged. And hang on. He rushed in there and got fucking winged with something. I don't even want to hear that shit. Now, second and most importantly, AJ's not going to touch Fury. Fury's going to fucking dominate the fucking guy. Yeah, sorry, boys. I know it might be racist, but I'm going with Whitey. I'm sorry. But he's gonna dance laps around that fucking kid. Are you fucking kidding me? Here's how the fight's gonna play out. You can write this one down for you. Here, Fury's gonna dance around him and use his feet and his jab for this first 6 rounds. Let AJ's gas tank wear out. When the second half of the fight, he's gonna be tired and he's gonna start to put it on him, and he's gonna get him out of there late. There you go. Boom. Easy fight to call. Fury. Easy fight to call.
Well, it might be.
And even if he,
on paper, it might turn out to be Fury, but I don't think it's gonna be easy, man. Joshua's not just gonna lay down. I think he will get tired at some point, and maybe that's when Fury's gonna.
Johnny's going with the Whitey. I'm going with the tan skin Puerto Rican guy.
Yeah, the Puerto Rican guy. There you go.
No. I think as long as Fury's not fucking snorting lions and drinking fucking Coronas, he'll be all right. If he's in there focused like I think he is, I think he's just going to absolutely fucking. Like I say, I think he's just going to dance around him the first 6. You're good, and then you dance around him the first 6 rounds. Let AJ wear in his gas tank a little bit, and then he's going to put it on him late, put him out. We already know the roided up bitch don't got no chin. So I mean, fuck.
Yeah, he'll probably try to do.
I think. Let me put it to you this way: we don't even have a date for it, and you're already overthinking it. Okay.
Yeah, well, maybe, but that's what we do over here. We overanalyze things. Anyway, listen, Joy Boy, thank you for your call. And hey, by the way, who do you have? Vergil Ortiz, Maurice Hooker this Saturday.
Here, let me give it 2 seconds on this one, BDA. So I got Vergil by decapitation. That kid's the goods. He's going to be beating the shit out of fucking Danny and Porter and these retards in a couple of years that don't want to fight nobody. He's the goods. Hooker's a good fighter. I think he's a good little test for him. But Vergil's going to put it on him. He'll get him out of there in the middle.
Well, there you go, man. All right, Johnny Boy. Thank you for your call, man.
Boys.
Take it easy.
Have a good one, fellas.
Yeah, Johnny.
You too, man. All right. Don't forget, fellas, phone lines are open, and don't forget to hit that like button, please. That will really help us out. It really does help us out. What was it? Oh, yeah. So we're talking about the Joshua Fury fight here. You guys are breaking it down pretty eloquently, and there's a lot of questions, like you guys are saying. One thing that I do want to say, though, is if Fury fights from the outside, I heard Jimmy say that he thinks Fury has the better ring IQ. Speaking of ring IQ, I know this was 9 years ago, and I know it's the amateurs, but I just saw the Joshua fight against Savon in the Olympics. I think it was the round of 16. He didn't win that fight. I know it's just 3 rounds. He didn't win that fight, man.
I think I agree with you. He didn't. He got a gift.
Now, who's this?
That was the Cuban amateur.
But anyway.
No, but who was fighting, Fury or Joshua?
No. It was
Did I say Fury?
AJ in his Olympic gold medal fight with
okay.
Well, it was the round of 16. It was the round of 16. Yeah, did I say Fury, by the way?
No, you said
okay.
16.
No, I think Savon. When you said Savon, I automatically thought you were talking AJ.
Yeah, that's what I said. Yeah, AJ versus Savon. Yeah, it was a round of 16 in the Olympics. I think it was a round of 16, and he lost that fight, man. Yeah, he lost 2. I get.
He lost clearly.
You could have given him 1 round. I think you could have given one of those rounds. I think it was a close one, but he got his head snapped back with jabs. He got hit with right hands. I don't know how he and the comment section. I know you can't always go with the popular vote there, but I mean I know what I saw, and then I read the comment section, and a lot of people were saying yeah. I think there were only out of 50 comments. I think only 2 people said no. Joshua won that one.
There was no politics involved in that, because of the Olympics. It was in Britain. I think anybody would have just scored that fight for Savon.
Yeah, I think so.
It was in Britain. Well, that explains it.
Yeah, it was 2012. The 2012 Olympics.
Yeah, I didn't even think of that. Yeah, no, of course, that's why. Same thing
Yeah,
with fucking with Roy Jones. Remember that? Roy Jones sat in the ring for like 2 hours after. He absolutely dominated. I mean, like, it was shocking. It was on the lead story in the news the next day. It was so bad.
Yep.
I mean, you
Yep.
guys saw that fight. It was.
You know, there's another guy that people forget about. Todd Foster got screwed big time also because he won the fight earlier in the day, and the Korean sat there kneeling all day and wouldn't leave the ring. So they had to have a rematch that night.
Whoa!
And that they got Bob Foster back. Not Bob Foster, Todd Foster. Todd Foster back in the ring. So he'd already won his tournament against that guy, and then had to rematch him, which is unheard of in the Olympics.
Jeez.
And fought him again and lost the second time.
When was this?
88.
88. Jeez, I mean, what the fuck? What was
Second
going on in
best
that
class.
country?
84 was the best.
Don't forget also,
88,
Joshua also lost. Apparently, I haven't seen this one, but he also apparently his gold medal match. Some people say he should have lost that one too. So that's why.
I thought Savon was the gold medal match, but that's true. That fight was a little closer, but he lost, bro. He lost those fights.
Well, what's his best win? His best win is a 40-year-old Klitschko, right? Still to this day.
Yeah.
I didn't really follow his career all that much. I mean, so is that still his best win?
That's still his best win, I think.
All right. I'm just asking. I'm not making it. I'm not, inferring anything. I'm just saying it is what it is.
But I think what AJ has on his side basically is his record. The amount of boxers that he fought that are decent, if you can put it that way.
His professional record's good.
With Povetkin, he's got Povetkin under his belt, a guy that for a long time, when Klitschko was reigning, Klitschko beat him, but he was like the second guy at one point of his career. So, and pretty much stood there for a long time, like at least top 5. No more than top 10. I mean, he can't fall further than that. And then he came into that fight with 1 loss against Klitschko, and he beat
White. He beat White, who went on a pretty
Dillian
good run.
White. Yeah,
he went on
he
pretty
beat
good
Dillian White
anyway.
early in his career. A risk fight for both guys because maybe AJ was always like the golden boy in that block, that British block or whatever. But still a risk fight. You don't know what's gonna happen in that fight if he gets hit with a big shot, and he did. So.
And he got Povetkin out of there, and I know he's old.
I'm gonna say White is his biggest win. Dillian White.
What about Povetkin's been looking like a savage, even though he's older, he's still looking good.
Yeah, listen, that AJ resume is pretty good. Even the Parker fight, I remember people were giving him shit for the Parker fight, and I think we gave him a little bit too for not pressing more. But in hindsight, it's a pretty good win too, man. I mean, he outboxed a guy who has the fastest hands in boxing in the heavyweight division, I think. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, BDA, I'm sorry for cutting in, but I was going to say that it was a good win, but it was a bad performance.
Yeah. I mean, it was boring. Let's face it.
Klitschko is his biggest win due to the fact of who Klitschko is. The rest of it, his resume is not any worse than Wilder's. I mean, we most of us jump on Wilder due to the fact that Wilder's clumsy. He hasn't improved his boxing skills, but he knocks people out. Some people think he gets lucky with a punch because he's just a puncher, but he's fought everybody pretty much with the exception of AJ in the heavyweight division. And AJ's fought everyone except for Wilder and until the future unfolds itself, Tyson Fury. So his record speaks for itself. If you look at a heavyweight with it since the Klitschko era, he's fought him. So but his biggest win is Klitschko due to the fact of who Klitschko is.
And I think this is historically weak time for the heavyweight division. There's just not much depth.
But it's not bad though.
It's been that way for over 10 years now.
But it's not bad. I will say it's not the worst because I mean, look, you got, like I said, you got Joyce right now. You got Uzi coming up. Those are two of the dark horses in the division.
And they're recent though, right? There was exactly. Last 4 or 5 years.
Before these two guys that you just mentioned, Mr. BDA, was the division really that deep?
Yeah, because at least you had Povetkin still there. White hadn't gotten his ass knocked out by Povetkin. You had Dubois, who some people were thinking he was going to do something.
Please, no.
No, I know, but back in the day, a year ago, before he lost to Joy, some people were saying, "Hey, if he keeps improving."
We're talking about whether this division is weak or not. You know what I mean? And Dubois, he wasn't even in this. He's not even in this conversation. He wasn't even a contender.
White?
I'm talking about actual.
No, Dubois.
Oh, Dubois. No, but I'm saying the upside. I'm saying there was interest. Like I said in the beginning of my statement, I didn't say it's the greatest, but I said it's not that bad. It's not the, put it this way, it's not the like post Ali between Larry Holmes, and Tyson, where you had guys like Tim, and even that one wasn't that bad in retrospect. To me, one of the worst times was when Lennox Lewis cleaned out the division, and Tyson was half a fighter in Tyson was not considered his biggest threat, and when Klitschko had nobody left because he was clinching his way to decisions. That's a weaker division. Right now, it's not that bad compared to the Klitschko reign.
And if Klitschko was clinching his way to knockouts more often than not, believe it or not.
But
if you think about it, though, right? Tyson, Deontay Wilder managed to hold on to the WBC heavyweight title for 3 years, almost 4 years, and only fight one top 10 fighter. That's insane.
That's true.
He had literally the most historically worst heavyweight reign championship resume.
Yeah,
you factor that in. His own trainer came out and said it. He said he fought one good guy in 40 fights. That resume was, they did everything they could to avoid anybody could hit hard. And he did fall into that. All I need is that, he believed all I need is land that one punch. And how does that not come into people's minds when they look at him?
Well, Jimmy, they're talking Hall of Fame now. They're talking about Hall of Fame now when it comes to Deontay Wilder, because he has, 9 title defenses?
9 title defenses against who? They were fucking, none of them
Doesn't
were
matter.
top 10 ranked. They were bums.
Yeah.
No, I don't use that word. You know what I'm saying? I'm saying it is, I never mean that. I don't give a fuck with dudes 8 and 16. In fact, those are the dudes who are the lifeblood. These guys who stay and, don't get nothing but $150 to get their brain scrambled. I got respect for anybody who steps in the ring. I'm only using that as a, just a describer,
Yeah, I get what you're saying, Jimmy. It's true. You don't want to disparage fighters, but I will say this. I hate to call fighters bums, but you got to admit, sometimes fighters do give out bum performances. That's some fighters, and if you're Orlando Cruz, some fighters take it in the bum. Now, let me say this about Tyson Fury and Joshua. I keep saying, people seem to miss the point. Like in that video we did asking whether Joshua is hard or not, like I said, it seems like people didn't even see the video. But one thing that I did try to emphasize in that video was, Joshua has heart, but when push came to shove, we saw that he does have a limit. He did quit tacitly in there by backing up into the corner and not responding to the referee's instructions. And so he did hit a limit. The question then becomes, if Fury puts it on him, makes him get tired, and things aren't going his way, the way in that Lewis fight, is it inconceivable to see him pull out again?
You have heart in the fight, and you have heart in a career. Klitschko, some people think Vladimir Klitschko didn't have heart because when he got the knockouts losses that he lost, he stood up on all of them, but the fights were still stopped. Then they questioned his heart and determination to go on. You don't have a career like his without having heart. So right now that same question is over Joshua. So he's had heart because he came back with 2 solid wins after a devastating loss that some people thought he quit in. But does he have heart in the moment? Does he have heart right there when it's being tested? Or does he have to evaluate and come back and show that he's still got heart, but he doesn't? It's like decision-making heart. He's got to analyze it and come back again. It's hard to explain, but
I get what you're saying, though, because in the moment, some guys, they have that, right? They've been training for 3 months. They've been boxing for decades. So when they're in there, their instinct is to fight, right? But then some fellas, what I'm trying to say is some fellas take such a beating that it circumvents that instinct. I think that's what you're trying to say as well, right? Like, how much can a guy take before he goes, how much can a guy take before he starts thinking logically and go, you know what? The fuck am I doing here? Like, maybe it's time to pull out,
I'll lose today, but I'll come back and I'll win tomorrow.
Yeah.
That's, you got it right there, Jay. The heart got to go along with the skills. Because if you think that, if you show too much heart, you're going to get caught again. That you would rather box a little, get on the back foot, and look for an opportunity to get yours off and still come back tomorrow and win. Yeah, I do got to agree with that. It all depends. You don't want to be a fool, certainly. You don't want to be certainly a fool and go in there and get knocked out again just because you got so much heart.
If I was Fury, can I just add, if I was Fury, I wouldn't even want this fight in England, and I'll tell you why real quick. And I'm only mentioning politics because it has something to do with it. the BBC, and fucking Stu can attest to this, is so heavily run by the left, and that whole woke culture. It affects their sports in the covering of sports. It's, I mean, just from the things he said about homosexuality, gay, I'm not even passing judgment. I'm just saying he said it about, gay marriage and all that shit because he's a Christian. He's already been painted the negative person there. And because of, diversity and inclusion, they can even pump Joshua even more. So I'm just saying, being from Britain, England, the UK, whatnot, I don't know if it would be even better for him. I'd rather fight him out in Saudi Arabia so he's not dealing with as much of that press. That's just my point.
All right, listen. I get what you're saying, though. What do you guys think? Do you think that it would? Do you agree with Jimmy that if he does fight in England, that the PC police is going to give it to Joshua for being?
Most definitely.
They already are, dude.
The whole BBC documentary about his connections to everybody was like, oh, that this is like this is connected to the whole thing with Wilder. I saw that as this is connected to politics in the UK. That's basically what it is.
Every time they mentioned his name, because they talked about it. I think it was I don't remember the leftist rag, but it came up on the the news when I hit on the fuck Google, and sure enough, man, it just mentioning the fight was being made. They had to add his homophobic slurs and other derogatory things about Fury. So that's just the beginning volume.
And if you're fans like
it'll get worse.
You could care less. Yeah, you could care less about.
But when it's your own hometown, you know what I mean.
Yeah,
but
the BBC is as relevant. BBC is as relevant when it comes to truth as CNN. So
no, exactly. Oh no, they're garbage, dude, and he knows that. Everybody knows it. But when all the press, I don't even think they have like a Fox News there. So I would think it would be all constantly negative, and no matter how much, unless you just completely block it out and surround yourself with just the right people and don't read it. Because I'm just saying, I know it would, after a while, being painted the fucking bad guy. Who knows? He could also use it as motivation if they are fighting in England. It all depends. Like I said, we don't even know where they're fighting.
He could, but he'd have to use it to win by a knockout in order for it to work. Because otherwise, if it goes to distance, and do I think there's validity in what you're saying? Look, I never thought I could see election completely robbed the way I did, but I saw it. So I can definitely believe the fact that something as simple as a heavyweight fight can be done by whoever the political favorite is. On that note, it's St. Patrick's Day, and I've got to go have myself an Irish meal. Thank you for having me on as always, and you guys have a good night.
Jay. Enjoy St. Patty's Day, bro.
Yeah, take it easy, man. Take it easy, Jay.
Thank you for being here.
Yeah.
Wait a minute, Gonzalo, you still on?
Yeah.
Did you watch those Tony Lopez fights?
No, I didn't get a chance. The Tony John Molina, I'm gonna watch those. I watched the 2 versus what is this guy, man? Lockridge, the 2 Lockridge ones, but I want to see because he had a big Sacramento following, and
yeah, he did.
And the fight that he lost with Molina, I know it was in his hometown. I want to see what goes down in that fight because you also see a lot of like other little things, like when these referees and judges were younger, the commentators, the mistakes they made, and stuff like that. It's always fun to go back and watch those fights.
Go back and watch his ones with Brian Mitchell and realize the fact that that's a 130-pounder that people overlook when it comes to greatness. Have a good night.
No. Ryan, we don't support South Africans over here, man. Sorry about that.
Oh yeah.
No, I'm kidding.
Sorry,
I'm kidding.
I'm gonna go have I'm gonna have a Coke and go be less white.
All right, take it easy, Jay. Thank you for joining us, man.
Good man.
Real quick, shout out to Kenshiro for his super chat in the chat room. Obviously, he says Smith should be ashamed. Oh, Stephen Smith. Yeah, Stephen Smith should be ashamed. For the Spence and Bud remark. Yeah, for anybody that's not aware, what's his name? Smith. He always trying to be the controversial figure. Said that
Stephen A. Smith.
Spence, yeah, Stephen
A. Smith. Yeah.
He said Spence versus Bud Crawford is the biggest fight in boxing, not Fury versus Joshua.
I mean, this guy knows he knows shit about boxing. He knows,
but he knows about sports. I think, like you said, I think he's just trying to be the opposite.
But he doesn't really know about. I do agree with Rocky. He doesn't know about boxing. He doesn't know about boxing. He's the type of guy that he'll tell you, like Butch always says. He'll tell you, "Oh, I watched Mike Tyson versus Trevor Berbick." It's like, who didn't watch that fight back in the 80s?
Who didn't watch it? That's the thing. That's what I keep saying. Like,
yeah, but you don't think Max Kellerman told him? I think because I think it's such an absurd comment from someone in his position that it almost seems contrite. You know what I mean? Like it almost seems it was said to make make himself relevant. I don't think he even cares about boxing. I just think he knows. You know what I mean?
His thing is basketball. He should, and he's not doing a good job.
NFL, in football too.
Football, he's just like
No, but hold on. If Wilder would have won that Fury rematch, would he have said that Crawford versus Spence is a bigger fight?
No, not at all. He would have been riding that Wilder train all the way through.
No, he would have been riding
greatest
something,
heavyweight
right?
alive today.
Hey, by the way, shout out to
He
Texas
is
Bulldogs.
the greatest heavyweight. Shut up, man.
Max.
Yeah.
Real quick. Shout out to Texas Bulldog Boxing. Says Fury can't fight in the UK. No license. That's true. He can't even fight. He doesn't even want to fight in the UK. He doesn't want to get a license there. By the way, Stephen A. Smith, man. I mean, this guy, how annoying can he get, man?
Just a corny motherfucker. That's all he is.
But Max, let me tell you this. He sounds like a hustler, man. Like he's trying to sell you a used car or something, man. No. This
George Jefferson hairline. George Jefferson hairline.
Yeah, the
George Jefferson hairline.
Oh man, I don't even think I liked when Joe Rogan saw him hitting the pads, and he goes, "Why is he hitting the guy's balls?" Like they had the pads in the guy.
When they had the ESPN zone, right, in Times Square. So you go to the ESPN zone. There's a lot of different sections. There's a part where you could watch the games and order food and drinks, and then there's a part where you could play a little basketball with your friends. It used to be open, closed like maybe 5-6 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, people when they see Stephen A. Smith, they used to make fun of him, man. I know he heard it too. I know he heard it.
Didn't you say you heckled him during one appearance? Or?
No, not me. Like I was, I saw him a couple of times, and like I said what's up to him, and that was it. I saw Max Kellerman there, and I had a conversation with him. But there was people that would go by, and they were like, especially the young black dudes, man. They were playing basketball. They're like, "Yo, I thought you knew how to play ball. Why don't you come over here, man? Come on,
dude." I told you. I was gonna say Triple G Jacobs. I told you somebody heckled my Kellerman. Some dude said they killed the wrong brother. Remember that? I was like,
that's
that was just fucking. I'm like, wow,
that's a little too.
Does he owe you money?
Yeah,
you coming at him like that? Oh man, Jesus.
I suspect they weren't fully sober, if you know what I mean. Some people can.
Oh no, there was a lot of violence.
Kellerman being from New York. How did he not know Butler's outside the ring story? Like it was pretty well known that Butler was a crazy dude.
Well, he sucker punched the dude. He got arrested, right? He sucker punched.
I mean, he did that. Okay, so he did that on live,
right? Right on live
TV. I think that's already like a red flag.
Yeah, right?
You think?
Commit felonious assault in HDTV. Fucking zip ahead.
And Kellerman is from the New York area. That's the thing. It's not like he's from California, some area where they don't, there's no inside tips on fighters from New York. He was pretty well known as a crazy dude.
Was he living with them, or were they just friends hanging out?
He killed him in California. Remember, he didn't. Real quick, he didn't kill him in New York. He killed him in L.A.
Are you sure?
I'm positive he killed him in.
I thought it was in New York.
Yeah, me too. I understand.
I don't know.
Yeah, I thought it was.
I don't know.
No, it wasn't in New York. They're two New York guys, but he killed them. Yeah, he killed Max Kellerman's brother in Los Angeles or somewhere close to it. Yeah.
That's insane. Yeah, you could tell the guy. You remember when he hit, what was his name? Richard Grant? I forgot the guy. You could tell his eyes.
Yeah, the African.
The guy's eyes
were...
you
saw him peeping. He was like, yeah, all right. Like he's about to do a shooting or something.
Mm-hmm. Like he was a drop shot. Like the guy was a drop shot. And the way he hit, but I'm saying is his face. I think you told me to recognize that. It's almost like a dog. One of those pit bulls that are bred for fighting. Like it's his brain just snapped. You know what I mean? It's because you look at his face, the way his muscles contorted, and he just and he punches him in the face. It's like, geez, what the fuck? That's why he killed.
No impulse control, man. It's just I saw him all the time in prison, dude. So a lot of those dudes are in there. They have no impulse control. How many times in a fucking week, dude, have you looked somebody in the face and said, "Man, I like to slap that fucking kid"? Right? I know maybe it happens to me in an exorbitant amount, but a couple of times a week I'll be out. I'm like, I just fuck you, right? But why don't you do it? It's impulse control, fear of consequences. But when you have no impulse control, And these fucking dudes, they don't. They're just vicious. They're violent.
Yeah, the only thing that really saved him to that point was because he was in boxing and he was pretty good at it. Obviously, to make it to the pro levels.
But that was something that was going to happen
he
regardless. Yeah.
Yeah, he was either going to go to jail or he grew up in the South Bronx. They would have fucking either two things. He was going to end up killing somebody out there, or somebody was going to kill him. If he didn't do it already.
Did he rob somebody? I know. That's just the one we know he got caught for.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you said, you're willing to do that in a fucking ring like that, man. I don't know. But yeah, does anybody know what he killed Kellerman's brother for? Was he robbing him?
I think he got confronted about stealing from Kellerman's brother, Max's brother. And I think he wanted him. I'm more than sure, because I remember talking to some people. This was in L.A., not New York. So he went to go live with him out there in L.A., and then he started stealing because he was a guy that was always in trouble, money problems, problems on the streets. From what I remember, I think there was even people that wanted to hurt him. So it was best for him to leave to L.A. He probably would have got killed out there. Maybe made some fucking, hang out with the wrong people.
And so what? Did Kellerman open his house up to him? Have him come
So
live
he
with
let
him?
him stay. There was a lot of rumors going around there. Like, I don't even want to repeat that, but these are. He said you could come stay with me in Los Angeles, and he started. I think he wanted to kick him out, and the reason why he wanted to kick him out was because he was causing a lot of problems. I think he was even stealing from him, and he killed him.
So he didn't say he should have been smart enough to have the police kick him out. How did he not realize that dude's reaction would be not anything yet but violent?
He was on TV, man.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
So that is stupid. He should, if you got to kick somebody out like that in a situation like that, if you can't take them out, with your own hands, or you ain't got a fucking 147 grain hollow point in your back pocket, you better fucking call the police to deal with it.
Yeah, apparently what I remember hearing back in the day was that Kellerman was one of the guys that was championing for Butler to be pardoned or to be forgiven by the boxing world and to be led back into the boxing world, which he was. Now, if looking at Wikipedia here, it says that indeed something happened. They got into some sort of argument about him moving out. It says that prosecutors speculated that Butler was having a relationship issues with his girlfriend while also struggling to revive his boxing career, because I think he lost after the Grant fight. When Kellerman asked Butler to move out, a disagreement ensued on how long Butler could stay when he picked up a hammer and killed Kellerman and then torched his house. So, a bit of a wacko, this guy.
My God.
And that was in California, right?
It doesn't say. Hold on, I'm trying to. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, Hollywood. Yeah, Hollywood, California. Now,
Yeah,
Hollywood,
I told you guys.
Well, what do you mean by that?
The guy had
happened in California, I guess.
The guy had some issues. There was definitely a lot of issues going on there. There was, there was either drug problems. This is what I was told. He had street problems. He had a lot of problems going on.
Hey, man, he was sentenced to 30-something years. No, 29 years. Butler, he says here, according to Wikipedia, Butler was sentenced to 29 years and 4 months. 4 months.
So basically 30 years.
So he should be getting out soon.
Yeah, I was going to say, what year did it happen?
Well,
depending on the year it happened.
He was convicted on March the 27th, 2006. So that was about 15 years ago. And he's not.
Yeah, he has to. Unless they change the laws, I think he has to serve. I think he has to serve at least 80% of that now.
Well, California might be different. In New York City, they went from 50 to 60%. So if you get like 20 years, you got to do 12 years at the very least.
Oh, Massachusetts, they fucking throw you under the fucking jail, dude. They give you 23 years. You're most likely.
But it also depends on your record.
Well, they give you the bottom number. If you get a 20 to 25, you got to do 20.
You got to do 20, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. New York for a long time, New York State was given that, 7.5, 15, 12.5, 25.
New Hampshire does that. Football scores, I call them. They'll give somebody 7 to 21. and you're like, what the
Yeah,
fuck
that's
does that
crazy.
mean? Meaning they have you for 21 years if you fuck up in jail.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? You get enough incident reports, you can end up staying in there. Or when you parole out to that 21 years too.
Hey, by the way, can I say?
Look like a crazy motherfucker.
Oh yeah, man! I'm sharing the photographs here. I mean, just look at this motherfucker. He looks like he came out of the.
Yeah, that's a crazy dude, bro.
He looks like he came out of the Predator movie, the second Predator movie. Remember when they get into the Colombians versus Jamaicans?
Him in prison? That's him in prison now?
No, I don't think so.
Because he looks bigger. What I'm trying to say.
Again, and I'm not trying to denigrate on a dead dude, but shame on him. You know what I mean? Like, how did you not know that? Isn't from fucking Kellerman? I thought he was from New York. I thought that kids had a
virtue signaling. I'm telling you, Jimmy. Everybody that I know of, right, that knew James Butler, or knew somebody who knew of him, all said that dude was a problem. Outside the ring, it was like a lot of street stuff, drugs.
Dude, I never fucking met him a day in my life, and I knew he was a problem.
The real,
you know what I mean?
The real reason he left New York to California, and he still got in trouble, was because he was having street issues, and that usually means somebody's looking for you.
Right.
Oh, that kid's been fucking doing knucklehead shit his whole life. You don't just suddenly at that age do something as fucking ridiculous as that. That's not a late life, onset. That usually calms down as you get older.
And by the way, can I say something about that? About what as you said that it was that the reason why he sheltered him, that Kellerman sheltered Butler was because virtue signaling. I think so too, man. A little bit, in part. I think that had something to do with it because remember the Kellermans that grew up in New York. They're Jewish white guys.
They're Jewish white guys.
Who rapped.
And that's what I wanted to get into, the rap. When people in the early 90s started getting into rap, like what was the guy's name? MC Serge? I think that's another Jewish guy.
Serge.
I mean, those guys are what they used to call herbs.
The guy that discovered Nas, basically, I'd give him that. He discovered Nas.
Right. Yeah, but essentially that's what I heard. I'm not too sure because I don't know much about that.
They wanted to be the next Beastie Boys. Those three Jewish kids from New York, right?
Yeah.
Fucking Elements thought they were going to be.
So that's what I'm saying. Is I think they wanted
Mike D, man. That's a brilliant dude. Mike D is Michael Diamond, the leader.
You talking about the Beastie Boys or what the fuck?
Beastie Boys, yeah, man. Yeah. That's a cool motherfucker, bro. His music was good, but they were trying to be like him.
Yeah. And the other thing is, like I was saying, we were talking about Stephen A. Smith, some of the dumb stuff that comes out of his mouth. But Max Kellerman, for a guy that's been into boxing for as long as he says some pretty dumb things too. I mean, he seems to me, and Jimmy clarified this whole thing when he said that whom his agent is. It's one of those big Hollywood agencies. And then I go, well, it makes sense. Like he's been groomed for this. Because remember, he went from ESPN to Fox Sports to HBO, now ESPN. Like this guy's never out of a job. And let's face it, he's good at what he does, but he's not the greatest.
How good is the guy? No, in all honesty, like he's nothing special, man. That's my opinion. He knows a lot about boxing. He's a boxing historian. But so what?
I was told that he's related to a big time fucking agent out there, like an uncle or something, who's got big juice. So he's always been working, right? But it looks like he took a step back because he seemed to be going. It seemed like his career trajectory was going to end up higher. Like he never became that. I think like the person they were first grooming him at HBO to take over for Lampley, and then that fell through. So that office. He was actually, imagine that, they were actually grooming him. He was going to take Lampley's place.
Whoa, because I thought the plan from the beginning was to take over Merchant, which is what ended up happening.
He did take over Merchant.
Right, but I didn't know that Lampley...
when Lampley was going to retire, it was going to be fucking Kellerman. That's what I was told. But it never obviously transpired because HBO pulled out. And which I want to say too, like I wanted to say that to Steve the other night. I don't know if I even did. I can't remember. But I think that was one of the biggest turning points. And I think boxing still hasn't recovered all the way as HBO getting out of the game.
Yeah, you mentioned that. The other night, you did mention that to him, yeah.
Still bothers me. I think that fucking... But anyway, so no, honestly, where we stand now from everything being equal right now, I have Fury beating Joshua. I don't have I'm not going to be upset if he loses. I'm not emotionally involved, but just my opinion, the pick, I think Fury is going to beat him. I'm not too sure if he'll stop but I don't think I don't think Joshua is going to beat him.
I agree, man. But I do think that if Fury decides to box from the outside, he's going to have to put some combinations together, because I do believe that if this type of big fight is close, the judges could give it to one guy. I mean, look at what happened with Estrada Gonzalez. It's
Exactly.
they gave it to Estrada.
Oh no, it's in his best interest to take it out of the judge's hands. It is absolutely in his best interest. And if he fights the fight the right way, he should be able to. And if he does stop him, I don't believe it'll be from concussive power. I don't think he'll knock him out. It'll be one of those absolute fatigued, and you just can't, you know what I mean, just keep taking enough shots where either the ref stops it or the corner stops it. It'll be a fatigue stop it.
But that's what I was trying to get at with the whole Joshua thing. Obviously, he's got heart and he's got balls. But what I'm saying is, we saw his limit, and a lot of these boxers, that's what they see. Remember when Margarito and Cotto got into it in the rematch about how Cotto quit against Margarito, but Margarito never quit against Pacquiao, and like that seems to be an advantage between them. You know what I mean? That is a real issue between fighters, Jimmy. Or am I making too much of it?
Of course it is. Of course it is. It's all, if they can question each other's heart. That's a big thing, dude. Yeah, if you can actually, and if you think the other fighter really did just give it up, like, there's nobody's going to tell me Cotto put it on the line against Canelo either. I thought he mailed that in big time. You know what I mean? I thought that's when I was like, okay, dude, this is the fucking money tour. This dude doesn't give a fuck anymore. And he took his lumps. Don't get me wrong. He was in wars, but by then, it was it. And so, yeah.
Yeah, man. I mean, listen, I do think Cotto gave it his all, like you said, but because remember, Roach kept telling him, "You got to press him, and he tried. I think it was in the 9th round, and he just got butchered with combinations, and he just backed off. He said, "Fuck this." That's what Canelo wants. He wants you to jump on him so he can counter you. So Cotto, I think Cotto's best.
He pretended he was mad that he lost. Remember, they stormed out without doing a press conference. They actually thought they won that fight. Come on.
I thought he did the best with what he had. He moved, he threw a lot of jabs, he threw combinations, but it wasn't going to happen against Canelo that night. It just wasn't going to happen.
And that's what you get for backdooring into the fucking title. You wanted to fight for the middleweight title. That's the problem, because he really wasn't a middleweight.
Nah.
He knows it. You know what I mean? That's why he paid Triple G. He fought Canelo, but he didn't even want to just mail it in against G. He gave him $500,000 cash.
Jeez. And by the way, Kevin from Chicago in the chat. Kevin from Chicago in the chat. Kevin from Chicago in the chat goes, Kellerman's lineage can be traced back to the Middle East, Semitic lineage. Do we have to go back to that? We already said he was Jewish. Like, what? Is that the most important thing here? Is that the most salient point? I mean, we're talking about his brother getting butchered. I mean, getting hammered to death. And by the way, Pete, I wanted to ask you, man, who are you picking for Fury Joshua if you had to pick today? Like, if you had to gamble, for example.
A long time ago, AJ. He's saying it for a while. Just, I don't know, nothing to do with this recent, whatever he's talking about, weight gain or partying or drinking, anything like that. Nothing to do with Fury's remarks lately, but I just always picked him. I think he's got him. I don't think this heavyweight, the era that we're in now for the heavyweights is anything to write home about.
Mm-hmm.
Granted. But I think he's the best one of them. AJ.
All right, so you're picking AJ. See, that's interesting, man, because most people around the community here are picking Fury. But if I pick Fury, I'm not doing it super confidently. I'm not saying, oh yeah, because Joshua, man, the big thing for me is his stamina. If he can hold on to that stamina, he can be a problem, whether he's boxing from the outside or whether Fury jumps on him. In fact, who was it that said? Somebody said today, a trainer or a boxer said that if Fury jumps on him, it's going to be trouble for him because Joshua's going to start unleashing those combinations. Who was it that said?
Of course,
I don't think
he can hit you from either side with the right or left. That presents more of a problem than facing a Deontay Wilder who's only one-dimensional. Joshua's got more than one dimension, 2 dimensions. He can even hit you with a good uppercut.
If Fury's smart, what he'll do is keep pressure on him, whether it's a stiff jab, he throws that same kind of jab, but a lot, he puts a little mustard on it, and again keeps Joshua off balance. And if he keeps because most of the time Joshua's controlling the pace. He's the ring general, he's the bigger guy, the heavy puncher. If he's not, usually getting pushed back or it's the Fury's best interest to make him stay active. And you know what? Another thing Fury does that nobody's done, Joshua's faced, and I know I talk about it a lot. And you guys probably like, this dude's a little feint happy. Feints are so fucking make you tired. You bite at feints, whether you're physically moving, you're mentally biting at them. So that's why they're so good. And Joshua's never faced anybody who feints and jabs and feint. And so he's going to have to be in excellent shape. So if, again, that has always been a problem with him is his stamina, even by his own admission. I think a lot of that had to do with the extra muscle, carrying blood up there, so it takes a lot of oxygen. But so there lies the dilemma. Is he going to come in muscular or is he going to come in smaller?
But you know, if his heart's been put into question and the problem that he has was facing that guy that caught him with the good punch, his fear is not to like go in there and have to where Fury's going to outbox him and he's not going to want to engage. If Fury tries to not engage Joshua, Joshua's going to want to engage Fury because he's not scared of having somebody pity pat. You know, he's scared of somebody really landing a shot that he doesn't see. That's a hard shot that could maybe rattle him if you want to put his heart into question. I don't think he's facing the fear and all. This guy's gonna come in here to outbox me. You know, I'm just gonna try to like stay away from him so he won't out jab me. Nah, man. If Fury doesn't come in to fucking make it into a fight, Joshua will go in there to press Fury. He will make it into a fight because he's not gonna fear Fury. Fury's not coming to punch. No problem then. He's all good. No problem. Right?
I think if Fury's smart, which I think he is actually smart. The problem with Fury is he feints. He's constantly feinting. You know what I'm trying to say? That erratic movement. I can't get with it, man. I don't like it. I don't like when Andrade does it. It just seems like a gimmick to me. And
the fighters like Cotto, Pete, like the fighters like Cotto that showed a lack of heart maybe against a Pacquiao, or he was in a tough fight against Canelo, they fucking really did a job on guys like a Paulie Malignaggi. They weren't afraid to engage those guys because they were never threatened. That's what I'm saying. If Joshua's not threatened by Fury's punching power, man, Joshua's not going to leave it on the judge's hands. Nah, he's the champion. He's going to conserve his belt.
But I just ask you?
You know,
sorry.
Just quickly, Fury. AJ, he has good, decent timing. And I know Povetkin was old and shit, but he started timing him as he was coming in. And Fury, you know, those 1-2s, they're kind of sloppy, in my opinion.
Okay, but wait.
He's got great timing, Bucho. He's got great timing.
Yeah, AJ.
You mentioned before.
Yeah, go ahead.
You mentioned before about facing shorter fighters. I think it was Recognizer or Jimmy, one of the two.
Me.
Yeah, you. Yeah, I agree. I agree with that. AJ's problem, best I can see it. Obviously, we've seen a problem in the first Ruiz fight. He just got cute and took his eye off the ball, whatever you want to call it. You know, he took it lightly. He took the fight lightly. He thought he had him hurt, and he got caught. And he got beat down. He got right up, and he took a body shot too, vicious body shot. Ruiz fucking drilled him with a body shot at the end of that fight, which really, really hurt him bad. I don't think it was a lack of heart. I think he took a lesson from it. I don't think he'll be overlooking Fury. That's not going to be a problem. I don't think ever again it's going to be a problem. But here's the thing: if Fury, so the mental toughness angle, I think goes to AJ. I see a lot of mental toughness with AJ. I see a lot of not ring rust with the long layoffs, but I see a lot of Jimmy and I were talking about after the last fight. He's chomping at the bit. He wants to go. You know, he wants to fight. How many times can I fight this year? He's banging on Povetkin's gloves. Not Povetkin's. Who's the last fight? What was his last fight, AJ? It was
Pulev.
Yeah, Pulev. He's banging on his gloves during the fucking face off and after the final instructions. He's antsy. He if he had just calmed down, like Jimmy said, and took a step back and just in a controlled way, kept the pressure on him, he would have got that knockout. Now Fury is going to come in there and fight him just like he did Klitschko, and that's a smart way to do it if you're Tyson Fury. I mean, a technical boxer with good reach and a good right hand. Why wouldn't you fight him like you did Klitschko? I mean, he's gonna try to make it ugly. I think. I don't think he's gonna walk in there and walk AJ down and like he did Wilder.
No, that's not happening. That's not
happening.
I don't think that's
He's not
happening.
gonna get to. He's not gonna get.
He's not doing the Wilder
AJ.
thing again. He's not
gonna get AJ to bite on every feint like he was doing with.
Yeah, no, that was he exposed Wilder's lack of boxing from that.
Yeah.
Just the feints he was making a buy. But no, I was going to say I'm not one of the people questioning Joshua. I mean, I just want to state that I'm not the one people questioning Joshua's heart. But if he does not respect, or if he's not worried about Fury's power, a 273-pound fucking 6'9" dude hitting you with MX horsehair gloves, and the fact that I don't care. Listen, regardless, he still got knocked out by Ruiz, who isn't he's fast for a fat guy, but he's not a knockout puncher, and he got beat up by him. And I'll tell you right now, Fury hits every bit as hard as Ruiz, if not harder. So for that saying, you know what I mean? If you can't. If he didn't worry about Ruiz, I'm just saying, I'm not saying he's going to stop Joshua. My point is, if he goes in there not worrying about or looking past Fury's power, he's insane. He's going to go to sleep.
The thing about that is Fury, he can hit just as hard as Ruiz, even harder, I believe, because he's a big guy. He got a lot of leverage. But when he's cranking up those shots to put leverage just because he got long arms, man, Ruiz got short arms. He would throw 3 punches maybe like in 1 second. I'm just making an example how Mike Tyson used to punch. He would come from underneath. Man, Joshua's going to see when this guy's wailing away. And Fury, he's going to see them big arms coming. And he could do certain things, clinch. He could push them off with his hands. He can uppercut. He can tie up. He can box too. So
I love it when I love it when we don't all agree, though. This is going to make the fight even better. But I still, at the end of the day, I respect your opinion.
He will see when the offense is coming. The thing with Wilder, he's so limited that if he doesn't line you up with that right hand, and he knew this Fury, man, that he wasn't going to land it because Fury was pressing Wilder, he was going to struggle, and he capitalized on that.
Same token, if fucking Fury goes in and tries to treat Fury and Joshua like Wilder, he's going to go to sleep. 2 different night and day. I mean, Joshua's so much better than Wilder technically. He cannot go to sleep on that. But and I know Pete kills me, man. He always makes me laugh, man. Did you say that feints were a gimmick?
No, I didn't say they were a gimmick. Of course not.
Okay, I thought you did it. I thought you were
no.
All those feints just a gimmick. I'm like,
I'm not. Listen, I'm not shitting on Tyson Fury.
Can you stop shitting on Tyson Fury, please?
I got to keep in perspective, man. He's the second best heavyweight in the world.
Nice.
But that's not saying much in this era. In other words, what I'm saying to you is the herky jerk. He doesn't even know what he's going to do next with his movement. It's just that style where it keeps the other person off rhythm. It keeps the opponent off rhythm.
Exactly. And that's
ugly.
Bingo, brother. That's what it is. It's ugly and it's boring, but it is definitely hard to time. We'll see, put it this way. Lomachenko makes it look pretty, right? Instead of herky-jerky, he makes his feints and movement, and he makes it look rhythmic, and it you know what I mean? It's subtle. Because he's 6'9", big bald dude, and his fucking shoulders are herky-jerky. And now when you're facing that, again, remember, Joshua, in order to land his power shot, has to plant his feet. And listen, again, they're the best. So regardless, I know who's going to win that night is me. I get to watch right?
Yeah, absolutely.
The best, Jerry, the best. Hey, can I say something about gimmicks too? Because you gotta take what Pete says sometimes. I remember he called the Holocaust a gimmick too. So you gotta be careful when Pete says something like that. But what was I gonna say? Fuck yeah, I was gonna say
Hitler's birthday just passed, by the way.
Oh jeez, who would know that?
You know how hard it is to find a cake with 6 million candles.
Let's not go there.
Do you know how hard it is to find a cake with 6 million
algorithms?
Oh, come on! Did you hear Pete's joke? I don't think.
No one heard it. Hey, the thing is, nothing against Andy Ruiz either, man. But you mentioned Mike Tyson. Listen, how tall is Andy Ruiz? Like 5'10"?
Andy Ruiz is 6. They say he's 6'2", but I sincerely.
Oh no way, 5'11".
Stop it. All right,
5'11".
He's a 5'11" orthodox heavyweight. I know he's got power, and I know he's got a chin and all that. but he is what he is. He comes in high guard. It's the heavyweight division. So if you knock a guy down, you think you got him hurt, and he gets up and fucking catches you, you can get caught in the heavyweight division.
Ruiz's best attribute is his speed. His speed, to me, is his attribute.
Fast as shit.
Fast, and that's a good thing to have in a heavyweight. That's what makes Ruiz dangerous. Is his hand speed. Yeah. You don't expect to see it from a kid. And again, I'm sure Joshua looked across the ring and just never expected that. Never expected that hand speed.
Pete, he's 5 foot wide by 6 foot tall. That's his size.
He's like a sheet of plywood.
Can I just say too, real cool? Like see how like Joshua. I mean, Gonzalo can look at this fight in a different point of view, right? And has his opinion, and I have my opinion. But I respect his opinion on boxing as much as anybody's. I know this kid knows his game. At the end of the day, it doesn't change my opinion of him or my respect for him. I wish more people could, I wish, you know what I mean, be like that. You just have and at the end of the day, you say, hey, great fight. It's crazy how so many people, I don't like the people trying, I got you, you know what I mean, trying to, that type of shit.
Yeah. Oh, no, and if I'm watching it and you said it, I would just tell myself, oh, man, what Jimmy said, oh, wow, man, credit, I would.
I was saying that the whole time I was watching. The whole time I was watching that fight, I said that.
I would just talk about a floppy glove.
Yeah, we should just
right.
An excuse.
Oh, imagine being so emotionally invested into some other man's accomplishments that you have to fucking carry on conspiracy that in your heart. Every one of them knows in their heart none of this shit happened. They just know it took a life of itself, and it's just become an industry for them. They're getting paid.
Well, that's true, Jimmy. But it is a shame, though.
Create an industry.
It is a shame that these fights
some of these guys, but like Jimmy said, they don't even believe it themselves. But I think they managed to actually believe it.
Well, don't you think they would be screaming? Don't you think they'd be making videos saying Wilder needs to go to court? Here's the fucking court magistrate's number in Nevada. He needs to, or they could sign petitions, do something. None of them do it, dude. None of them believe any of that shit. They just got thousands of fucking zipper heads watching their content and getting them paid.
You guys were talking about trainers earlier. Imagine if you were like a trainer and you didn't always get it right, but you just were too stubborn to recognize your mistakes. You will never improve. It's like some people, I think that if they're just not willing to see something like with open eyes, you will never get out of the situation that you find yourself in. You would always remain the same.
And I want to preference that too also by saying not all of them believe it is what it is. You know that Ottman? Like Ottman is he's one of their followers who happen to, get on Twitter. But you know what I'm saying? Like they have thousands of them who believe it like it's the gospel.
Oh, you mean thousands of brainwashed people? I mean,
yes. And by just following the LDBC, right? They live in that world. They listen to all these videos, and
part of humanity these days.
And they call. I mean, you got one kid there making videos calling the fucking pussies. The media is pussies. We need a Suge Knight to slap these motherfuckers and take your laptops.
They don't even know what they're talking about.
Imagine he made a video and put it on Twitter saying we need a Suge Knight to slap Steve Kim and take his laptop. But he didn't say Steve Kim. He said Carter. But I mean, he meant media. Right? But that's literally what he's saying. So that's where his mindset is. They need a big black hot as fuck NIG. That's what he said, to come here and slap these fools. Like,
it's interesting
really?
that
This is what your mind is.
You can see the aggressiveness already. Like the intent is there. They're saying they want to do this now. Will they take it to that level? I wouldn't be surprised.
Oh, if one of these clowns sucker punched one of these of course they would. Listen, Steve's caught in some shit. He's gotten some people run his mouth, but Steve surprises people because he's Asian, but he's like 6'1". You know what I mean? He's not like a little Asian.
He's not like one of those.
And he does, bro. And he boxes enough, exactly. And he's trained enough that Steve, hits Mitzi's working with Mario and all those guys. He's been going to the gym enough. So my point is, he's not going to take anybody's shit. He's not going to be one of those dudes.
Hey, listen, I'll give Max Kellerman. I think I've told this story before. Max Kellerman used to be on public access in Manhattan. Had a boxing show. People used to call in and just troll. Some people were serious and would ask him real good questions like myself. But one guy kept trolling him and telling him about he'll knock he'll knock him out. Who are you to be talking boxing? And yeah, man, he dropped his address. He said, "I'm right here. If you want, you could come see me." Yeah, I swear, man. I swear.
Public access. You can say whatever you want, right? You can call in and curse.
Yeah, public access. This was like 94, 95, maybe 96, somewhere around there.
They recognize
recognize you to call every day. Every fucking show, recognize it. Just keep calling.
Most heroes are in the cemetery. The same thing could have happened to him that happened to his brother.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah. I mean, but listen, I'm pretty sure recognize he was giving the address to his building, and they had like security guards and everything. So
the security and everything. Yeah.
Hey, but remember you posted that. Remember you posted that clip of there's an infamous phone call. Compilation of prank calls from a guy that was doing a show in New York, and the specific episode was about gun control, and people were trolling him. And I've watched that video since 2006, I think, since he's been on the internet. And you said you actually used to call that guy.
I used to call him. Look, I'm gonna narrow it down to the people who used to prank him. It was me and my boys. A couple of other dudes from New York that I don't know who they were, and ready for this? Howard Stern and his people.
Yes, yes. Howard Stern, the public access. Howard Stern's guys get on their fucking asses. They got on them hard.
Yeah, a guy who was talking about baseball in New York, I think, public access, and they were always trolling that guy. It was fucking funny.
This is a guy. I'm putting him up on screen here. I don't know if we can actually play the actual clip, but some of them. My favorite is that in that one is because almost everybody that calls in is like suck my dick. He really got freaked out when somebody called in and he goes, "I want to suck your dick." It's like he flipped the table. I would have been freaked out too, man. It's like, this guy wants to suck my dick. What the fuck? Oh man, yeah, that guy.
He looks familiar.
Oh, he sounds like Elliot Gould. Check his voice out.
I mean, someone's walking around with you, he's going to look at you, get mugged, and you pull out a piece. I mean, you're...
hold on.
Case. Hi, you're on the air.
He sounds like Elliot Gould. Hi.
What a fruit. What a fruit. You're on the air.
Yeah, well, poor guy.
This is Frank from Flushing. Yeah, this is Frank from Flushing. I got an Uzi right now. From Flushing, Queens. What's up?
Poor guy was just trying to do a show, and he was getting...
I think I used to call him and be like, "Hello?" And he'd be like, "Yes." "Can you please call the cops? I'm being shot at. Oh, God."
Poor guy, man. Just trying to do a show. Listen, we do have to go.
Oh, man. This gravy train had to end, huh?
He had to, man. He had to. But we will be back on Friday for Open Phone Lines Friday. Anything goes. Might even have a special guest as well. Gonzalo and I were working on that. And...
maybe a Renaissance.
We gotta do a Renaissance. The last time we did one was
the last time we did a Renaissance.
Oh, hey, Jimmy, I want to talk about. Can you talk about the everybody too as well? But the Atlanta child murders from the.
The guy they got. The little dude with the glasses and fucking he had that big afro.
Yeah, because I want to get to the bottom of some things about that. The guy's character. Some of the shenanigans that went on with the investigation itself. So if you guys can, those of you that don't know what we're talking about.
Jimmy, we gotta do an O.J. Simpson trial show.
Right. That was
he innocent? Yes or no?
What a railroad job. Job.
Oh yeah, the Atlanta serial killer. I saw his documentary a few days ago. I had seen it before. Yeah, he sticks to his story. Like he almost sounds credible, like he didn't do it. But
he interjected himself in the case. I'll tell you, that's a bad thing to do. Cops instantly look at you when you interject yourself into a case.
Yeah, that's what they're looking for. So
where was that security guard at? Where was that security guard to back him up when he's up to that kind of shenanigans?
Yeah,
if I did kill Nicole, this is how I would have did.
Come on. Downstairs, buddy.
Who's he talking to?
I'm sorry.
Downstairs, actually.
I think
he's talking to my cat. He walked out. I thought I was muted.
I think he's talking to his victim.
My head.
He's talking to his victim. Come on, get in your cage. Let's go.
Get in your cage. Yeah, I was laying down. I had my eyes closed.
That's what John Gonzalez
said. Me like a prick.
You know what's funny about the guy you got up on the screen, BDA?
Uh-huh.
So when he was doing this was in 1990, right? So public access used to be, I think it's still there. It's in like in downtown Manhattan. So it's so funny he's talking about that. Like at that time, like that area was fucking just as bad. As, you know, like dude, you talking about gun control, where all the shootings are happening.
Gee, Louise. Anyway, listen, fellas. So second Renaissance, we got to do one on the serial killers, the OJ trial. I think my theory is still that he was just holding a knife, and his wife and her lover, whatever he was, just accidentally fell on his knife. So I think that's what happened. But we're gonna get to
the only question I got on that, and I just got to say we can carry that next time. But was his son involved?
Oh,
seriously, that's the one thing I got.
Well, how old was he? The son.
In his early 20s then, or late teens, definitely old enough to. Because I just find it hard to believe he could have subdued them. Listen, when you stab somebody, even deep cuts, people scream. It's not like the movies. You get one in the gut, man. People take a lot of stab wounds. It's very seldom. I mean, they teach you in the army, like if you come in from behind, you hit them from right to the left of the spine by like 2 inches, and you push up into the lung because you can't scream when your lungs puncture. It's just can't get the yell out. That's why they tell you to do that, or slice the throat. That's the one thing he sliced. I guess to slice both people's throats, and they were almost decapitated. It would be hard pressed.
Yeah, right.
To subdue two adults, and they were both
He's a
in
big
shape.
guy, man, though.
Yeah, he was. Ronald, and that's what his father would always say too. Like, OJ was a big guy, 6'4", 6'5", whatever. But his son wasn't a fucking little dude. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think OJ
very good shape.
6'2".
So it would have to be a blitz. I'm sorry, it'd have to be a blitz attack. You know what I mean?
When he was dark, I mean, he can sneak. He could have sneaked from behind and.
Yeah, where it happened, right in that walkway, it would have been dark. So the only thing I would imagine, he would have had a chance.
Yeah. Right.
He knew karate too, no?
They say
when a man is enraged over a woman, because a woman
he was already like obsessed with her, right? He was spying and stuff.
Well, you see, if you read if you read that story, basically he groomed her. He started dating her when she was 17 and he was about 29.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's a big star. She's a 7. Maybe she did have sex, but it wasn't nothing like having sex with a guy who's 29 years old. You know what I'm saying? So, and he's got money. He's got a ton of money. So he probably turned her out and had her on the string, and then she started fucking around, and he couldn't take that.
Yeah,
man, that's gonna suck.
I think it was like a coincidence. She just went there to drop her glasses off, and when he showed up for something else, he saw. But that means he would have.
He
to
was
be packing the
banging
knife
her.
already.
He wasn't dropping no glasses off.
No, they had people.
He showed up. But what I'm saying, he must have snuck up on the dude. He must have snuck up on the dude, cut his head off. Then the girl might have gone into like anaphylactic shock where she couldn't yell. Like they said, no fight, no flight. Maybe she just froze. She just fucking froze and couldn't. I don't know, man.
And by the way,
and when that first went down, I thought he was banging her too, dude. But then it was even witnesses who testified like it was random. The fucking manager gave him the glasses with the address. Like I guess he knew her from the restaurant, but really wasn't banging her, which does kind of suck. You wish he almost tapped it to give up his life for it.
Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know.
And she was banging. She did bang a fucking a handyman who lived next door. Who was working next door, who did kill a woman, actually killed a woman's sister who lived next door.
No kidding. I didn't know that.
So she liked them like that. She liked those rough dudes.
Oh, yeah, she was banging it. Yeah, she banged the handyman who she called fucking friends like this guy's going crazy.
Well, one last note about that case. I did hear, I think she told her friends that one time OJ pushed her on the bed and ripped her clothes off and that she got turned on. So, yeah, she's the type
Yeah. She was a wild one.
She was a good egg. That's why we call her in But listen, we got to go.
They asked him, why did you marry her? And he said she didn't press charges.
Oh, jeez, Louise. That's as good a reason as any, I suppose. Listen, we gotta go. But thank you guys for joining us. If you still want to listen to more boxing talk, Mark from Unrivaled Boxing Talk is going to be going on the air. He said in 7 minutes, so now it's got to be like 4 minutes. So thank you guys for joining us. Really appreciate it. Jimmy and Recognize, read the comment section here, if you can, the chat, because I want to talk to you fellas about a little something. And that's about it, man. Yeah, we gotta go. Thank you for joining us. and catch you on the next one Friday. Probably. Okay, so when can we do the second Rennie? Tomorrow?
I could do it whenever you guys want, man.
It's gotta be at night, though. It's gotta be at night. That way it's better. Serial killer talk at night. A little campfire, some marshmallows.
I'm open.
I'm ready. I got the hot chocolate ready.
This sounds like a fucking sleepover.
You know what? Hey, I'm checking into. Know what's been scaring the fuck out of me lately? I've been watching all the stories on real quick. The black-eyed children. I'll get into that later.
Oh yeah, I've read about that.
Sounds interesting.
All right, listen, fellas, thank you for joining us. Really appreciate it. Shout out to everybody that called in, everyone that joined us. Jay, sorry we gotta go, Jay. I know you just jump back in.
Yeah, dinner just got over with, but anyway, thanks for having me on, and I'll listen to you sign off.
All right, man. Thank you for being on. Thanks to Jimmy as well. I recognize Pete, my co-host Bucho Gonzalo. Stu was here for a little while as well. Gonzalo. Everybody that donated with the super chat, shout out to you fellas. You keep the gravy train rolling and you help us build our infrastructure over here and maintain it as well. Shout out to Michael Poe, Chris K, Brian, Kenshiro, and Texas Bulldog Boxing for their contributions. Shout out to you guys and everybody that joined us in the chat, man. Saint Brit, Murder Gang, Still Shelf, Kevin from Chicago, Teddy Brucky, GB Guthrie, Mark from Unrivaled Boxing Talk. Go check out his stream starting soon, very soon. Still Chef, Jack Napier, the Griffin, and the Coup d'etat Boxing. Check out the Coup d'etat Boxing. And that's about it, fellas. Thank you for joining us. Catch you on the next one, and take it easy. Come on, music.
Every one of you.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to offend you.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
I kiss you on the mouth.
No, I'm not cool with that. I'm sorry. One more